Here's your host, Andrew Salciunas, on 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Yeah, let me remind you again that it was my goal this past Saturday to make the trip down to Baltimore to officially save the season for the Philadelphia Phillies, and since then, all they do is win. Phillies win again last night, beating the Nationals 5-0. And, of course, it was the debut of one Luis Arraez. It was also the debut of Killian, right? We got to see Caleb Killian in the ninth inning strike out two batters en route to the Phillies win yesterday. But Luis Arraez steps right up and does exactly what he has been doing for the majority of his career in Major League Baseball. He steps up to bat in the bottom of the first inning. There were runners on base. All you're saying is, hey, Luis, do what you do best, man. Slap a single somewhere to the outfield, and he did just that, and a run scored, and immediately the crowd goes nuts, and he did it again later on in the game. He went 2 for 4 yesterday. It was a double the second time around. He had 2 ribbies yesterday, and guys at the top of the order scored. Trey Turner with 2 runs scored yesterday. It goes to show you that there are little things in baseball that still matter. And it's something that I have been fighting for a long time, and it always seems like I am fighting with people that make decisions in baseball. And those people that make decisions in baseball look at very specific things that players do well, launch angles and trying to hit home runs and just old school baseball and nothing but analytics. And I will forever bring up a story, even 20, 30, 40 years from now, as baseball continues to advance to find ways to piss me off. When I was in spring training a couple of years ago with Philly Sports Trips, and I was able to do a Q&A with Larry Boa and Jason Worth. And one of the questions from the audience, somebody asked about the usage of analytics. And Jason Worth just kind of laughed because he's like, I just hit the baseball. I didn't really think about anything else. I just wanted to hit the baseball. And Larry Boa had such a good line saying for 162 games out of the year, it's about launch angle and trying to hit home runs and doing all these things. But, man, come playoff time, teams play baseball. They bunt runners over. They try to get guys in motion. They steal bases, right? They don't do that during the regular season because it's a risk of getting out. But in the playoffs, they try to steal bases. They try to make things happen. There are moves made in the playoffs that you don't see during the regular season, and that's funny. And I'll always remember Larry Boa talking about that. And so Luis Arraez is exactly what this team needed because over the last couple of years in the playoffs, the lineup died. You would go through stretches where 1 through 9 in the order could not get things going. There was not somebody that would come through with the big hit. There was times where nobody would just get on base. I mean, we literally saw the Phillies get no hit in a World Series game. We saw them not play well against the Diamondbacks pitching in 2023 in that NLCS. We know what happened against the Dodgers. We know what happened against the New York Mets. Luis Arraez is a guy where he's just going to spray the baseball all over the field, and you got that yesterday. So the Phillies win. They show some life. They show that you can do things without trying to hit home runs every single time. They show that just playing baseball still matters in the sport. I get it. It was the Washington Nationals. They lose yesterday. They're now 5 games under 500. They traded away a couple of their better players at the trade deadline. So they're probably walking around with their heads down. You may have caught them at the most perfect time because they just told the organization just told the players, we're giving up on the season and we're getting ready for the future. So you may have caught them at the best time. The team's not all that great. But, man, when they were losing series after series after series after series, 4 straight out of the All-Star break, they needed to find ways to start picking up wins. And they did that in Baltimore, and they're doing that already in this 4-game series with the Nationals taking the first 2. So a nice win yesterday, and it's good to see that they're showing life again. Jesus Luzardo was incredible yesterday with 8 shutout innings, 4 hits, strikes out 7, walks only 2. You have a lot of the guys in the order at least getting on base, whether it's via the hit or via the walk. They had 11 hits as a team yesterday. Everybody got on base at least one time except for JT Realmuto and Kyle Schwarber. All right, Schwarber's in a really bad slump right now, but he's not a guy that I'm going to worry about. So good win for the Phillies yesterday. They are starting to show life, which is good. Do we want to get ahead of ourselves? No, of course not. But today is going to be an interesting day because I'm really curious. It'll go to show everybody, I would imagine. It'll show me. It'll show a lot of you where we're at with this baseball team. Because today, I'm going to have you go into the courtroom, and you're going to make cases for the Philadelphia Phillies, one way or another. I want you today at 610-632-0975 to make the case as to why the Phillies blank, why the Phillies are World Series contenders, why the Phillies won't make the playoffs, why the Phillies will get to the playoffs but will lose early, why the Phillies, you name it, why the Phillies are blank. You make the case for that today because they are a confusing team. And that's why it makes this conversation interesting. Yesterday was a wild day because yesterday we reacted to the trade deadline. Yesterday, on August 4th, I can't tell you how many times I said that the Phillies got better. But we also talked about Trey Turner playing shortstop still. Man, he made a hell of a play yesterday. But we talked about Trey Turner still playing shortstop. Still having Alec Boehm, which, by the way, was it not perfect that Luis Arraez hits the single and the very next batter is Alec Boehm, and it doesn't matter whether he's batting fourth or if he's batting fifth, he's still going to hit that 5-4-3 double play. Like, it was actually kind of hilarious that he did it because it's so typical. But then he had an RBI later on in the day with the sac fly. He had a base hit earlier or later on in the game, so he still got on base. But it was just so typical. We had all this talk about lengthening the lineup yesterday. Alec Boehm's still batting fifth. Like, it's not like he dropped to the seventh spot in the order. He's still batting in the middle of the order and is still just beating ground balls, into the dirt, hits a double play. But this team's confusing because they still needed that right-handed pop bat. They didn't get it. They needed somebody in the rotation. They needed somebody to add depth to the rotation. They didn't do that. But they did get better in terms of the lineup. Their bullpen did get better. But it didn't scream World Series contenders for a lot of people. But I kept on hitting a point yesterday that I will continue to hit until the season ends. And Connor Thomas shocked the world this morning, or at least shocked me, because he sent me an email with some ideas for the show, a list of topics, and there was really only one that stood out to me. Your other ones were okay, but there was just one that stood out to me. It was like that neon sign, right? It was the vacancy sign at the weird motels that you drive by, right? It was the Michael Scott St. Pauli girl sign in his house. There was one topic that stood out. Connor, I would like you to tell the audience what that topic was.
Yeah, I don't know what got into me last night. I must have been hitting the bottle or something because I said Andrew Salciunas might be the most right with the way he's recently evaluated this team.
Yeah, I'm glad that once again you're looking up to your older brother as the man that is far older than you on this planet. I'm much more experienced. I've been around much longer than you on this planet.
What do you have me by, like 10 months?
Something like that. I'm glad that it seems like every year you finally realize that I know what I'm talking about. I mean, it takes you a while. It's usually, a lot of arguments until we get to this point, but you've reached the point of sanity, and I'm proud of you.
Sometimes you run into one. I'll give you the credit on that. Now,
yeah, Otto Kemp.
All right.
The Eagles having 0% chances of winning the Super Bowl last year. It's all right. Like there's plenty of them, and usually I'm the a-hole for saying the things that I have to say, but this one's a positive one.
No, it is, because the Phillies just had their 15th shutout of the year last night. That is the most in Major League Baseball by 3, which, 3 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about shutouts, especially in today's game when starting pitchers can't just go out there and you don't get the complete game shutty anymore from guys, that is a really notable level of difference between them and pretty much every other team in baseball. And that just speaks to your point of the starting pitching that you have at the top of this rotation is a difference maker.
Yeah, and specifically the top 3. And it's why I have continued to reference whenever I see it pop up. Scott Lauber was kind of the first guy to do it, but now I'm seeing a lot of the reporters do it, a lot of the beats do it. Anytime one of those 3 win, they update the record of when the Phillies have a game started by Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez or Jesus Luzardo, their record is ridiculous. It's like, what? They haven't lost either of their starts recently. So what? I think it's now like 46-19.
Something like that.
Like 46-19 when those three guys go. So listen, I know this Phillies team has beaten us up. I know that I am the weird person to have the positive spin on because I'm usually the person that's overly negative with the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't think it's overly negative, actually. I think it's just realistic that, unfortunately, even with the addition of Luis Arraez, there's a major hole in the lineup 5 through 9 unless one of those guys gets going. It's great to see Justin Crawford hitting the baseball better. It's great to see Bryson Stott hitting the baseball better. You need guys at the bottom of your order to come through. One of the things that I laugh at is the people over the years after the series have come to an end only focusing on Schwarber, Turner, and Harper. And I get it. We should put the most blame on the guys that are getting paid the most money. But I still remember days of like, why are you being critical of Johan Rojas? Well, because I can't have an automatic out in a Major League Baseball game. And I had that 4 times a night whenever he played. Like, you can't have craters in the lineup. So, yes, it is easy to blame Schwarber, Turner, Harper for the shortcomings of the Phillies in the playoffs the last couple of years. And we should point to them first. But when Schwarber, Turner, Harper get 3 at-bats in a game and the other 20-some outs are happening from the rest of the lineup and nobody's getting hits, it is an issue. And it's an issue that Dave Dombrowski has not been able to fix. So I hate the way this lineup is constructed. Still, even with the addition of Luis Arraez, I'm just happy for 4 spots now instead of just 3. There's still some issues with this baseball team. The bullpen doesn't scream lockdown bullpen just yet, but I do like the additions they made. But what I will always hold on to, and it's crazy for people to hear because I am usually so negative on this team, every single night when I sit down on my couch and I put on the baseball game and I see the starting pitcher warming up, if I see Wheeler on the back of the jersey, Sanchez on the back of the jersey, or Luzardo on the back of the jersey, I know that through 6 innings, my team will be guaranteed to be in the ball game. It's almost a guarantee to be in the ball game. And if the Phillies score 1 run or 2 runs in those first 6 innings of a ball game, they have a chance to be up 1-0 or 2-0 at that point. And so it's why I will continue to reiterate, the Phillies are World Series contenders regardless of how we feel about them. Now, am I going to predict that they're winning the World Series? No, I'm not there. But you mean to tell me that if the Phillies play the Dodgers in the NLDS shortened series, right, not the best of 7, best of 5, you mean to tell me the Phillies have no shot in winning that series? I will make the case that they absolutely have a shot in winning that series as long as they play fundamentally sound baseball, which is something that they struggle to do. But as I got on my soapbox to start the show this morning, screw all you stat nerds out there. Hitting singles is okay. And Luis Arraez hitting singles with guys on base drives and runs. And if you score runs and you have a pitching staff like this, you have a chance to win a ball game. It's not that complicated. We overcomplicate things in baseball. Baseball is the #1 sport where we overcomplicate things. Football is a pretty close second with the way people are going for 2 when they don't need to go for 2, and it's actually negatively impacting teams. But the thing that we are overcomplicating the most is the sport of baseball. It's why when you talk to any old baseball player pre-analytics, what is one of the sayings that they always have? See ball, hit ball. That's it. Like, that is the sport. It's a hard enough freaking sport as it is to try to change the way you see the ball and hit the ball. The balls are coming in at 100 miles per hour. I don't need you to try to hit the ball out 200 miles per hour. I need you to put the ball in play. And that's what you got with Luis Arraez. So here is what you do today, either on the phone lines, would love to hear from you. Voice memo, would love to hear from you. And, of course, we have the Davis Honda text line where you can feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. I think phone calls and voice memos will be really important today because if I ask you to enter the court, usually I need, voices. Documents are important in the court of law, but, I need to hear your tone because that's how I'm going to be able to judge whether or not you truly feel how you feel.
Yeah, you're being subpoenaed today by Mornings with Andrew. You got to show up.
You make the case why the Phillies are blank. And I, today, will continue to make the case as to why the Phillies are World Series contenders, regardless of how we have been beaten down the last couple of postseasons, regardless of how we feel about certain players. There's been this swing of hating Bryce Harper all of a sudden. There's been swings of hating specific players. There's swings of overly protecting players that aren't as good as some of the other players. We do that all the time in this city. But I want to know what case you're making, why they are contenders, why they're not contenders, why they will make the playoffs, why they will not make the playoffs. Whatever level that you're going to do today, start with that and then make your case. And I will continue to hit the point that the Phillies are World Series contenders with the 3 starting pitchers that you have in Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo. You will be in every single ball game. And last night was just a nice reminder that baseball still matters. I don't know, Connor. Like I you know me. I'm old man yelling at clouds. Like I don't hide it. I don't hide who I am. You know me. You work with me, and you also hang out with me. Who I am behind the microphone is who I am outside of that door. Like I don't sugarcoat it, man. I hate a lot of new things. I am a nostalgic person. I am an old school guy, and it is a joy of mine to see a guy slap singles make an impact in a baseball game.
Yeah, this is if you're listening to Andrew today and you're like, what's gotten into him with his this baseball team? You do have to understand that like the Luis Arraez style is so textbook you.
Yes.
And when you see a team win, it's one thing. When you see a team win the way you want them to win,
it's beautiful.
That's a whole nother thing. It's honestly a great part of the conversation with the Eagles this year that we're going to talk about a lot. So you better get used to this type of talk about the style. But that's something that the Phillies have not had. Again, I'll keep saying, Trey Turner was supposed to be this guy when they signed him in 23. And he's had his moments, but Luis Arraez is Mr. Consistent. And that's something that this team
He's a three-time batting champion.
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the funny thing about baseball. That's not celebrated. Like, why? Like, why is that? It's singles. Like, my favorite player of all time is Ichiro Suzuki, and there are people that try to make the case that, well, if he came up in the big leagues now, he wouldn't really be the guy that we remember him as. A guy that had over 250 hits in a single season is looked at like, oh, that's nice, buddy. Like, why is that? It makes no sense to me, man. Like, you still need that in the order. By the way, the order, let's talk about that. It worked yesterday. All right? Once more, old man yelling at clouds here. It worked yesterday. Why did it work yesterday?
Well, you were playing the Nationals for one, which I think definitely helps.
Well, why did it work yesterday?
It was really, you got the opportunity for Luis Arraez to put guys home because there were dudes on base in front of them.
There were dudes on base in front of them. There will be nights where guys won't be on base in front of Luis Arraez. Yesterday was a great vibes night, man. People were getting on base. The new guy comes through. We're all happy. We're celebrating. I was not like offended when he was batting fourth because he did it in San Diego. So like I've already known that this was a thing. But there will be nights where Trey Turner doesn't get 3 hits. There's going to be nights where they don't walk Bryce Harper twice. I do think that they pitched around Bryce Harper, which allowed Luis Arraez to come up to bat and move him over to the next bag. The one problem with Arraez batting fourth is if the first 3 guys don't get on base, already starting the next inning, and then you have Mr. 5-4-3 on deck. So we can debate whether or not Arraez should be the leadoff hitter. I think that's just going to end up being an old school, new school debate, honestly. Like, I think that's what it's going to be. And I try not to be totally blind to how baseball is being played nowadays. But I was surprised when it first came out. Like, I thought they were going to do the Arraez Turner, one of the 2 at the top, and then the Harper Schwarber so that Harper has protection. Because Luis Arraez is not fear protection. Luis Arraez is just singles. He is what he is.
Yeah, he's not instant offense. He's a guy that can create it when there are guys out there, which is something that you need a lineup built around. I think the whole thought process last night behind that was splitting up the righties and the lefties. Maybe that's something they do. But just like when people worry about what do you need at the trade deadline a month ahead of time, Or when you try and plan out who's going to pitch in the postseason, like who's your postseason rotation with a month or two left in the season. Something I always say with that is we're going to figure it out. Like over the course of time between then and when those decisions need to be made, we're going to know for sure.
Yeah.
So anyone who's worried about where the lineup is, we're going to know where he should be batting by the time we get to the postseason games or the end of season important games.
Yeah.
It will work itself out.
I just is it crazy for me to say if Luis Arraez hits a single, that means he's on base for Kyle Schwarber? Like that's how I view baseball.
It's not crazy, but let's say they go on a heater with him batting cleanup. Like if it ain't broke,
then you keep
don't
doing
fix
it. Right?
it.
No, absolutely.
So
I get it.
You got to give it time to develop.
Yeah. And by the way, like Money Mark chimes in on YouTube, just saying there will be nights where they're not playing the Nationals. I get it. That's why I'm not trying to overreact, but I'm going to keep the same energy that I had yesterday. Regardless of how we felt about the trade deadline, regardless of how we felt about the Dodgers acquiring Tarek Skubal, I will continue to say the same point. You cannot give up on this team. You can have your fears. You can have your doubts. You can complain. You can hate, because I do. I hate the construction, and a lot of that's because of Dave Dombrowski. But when Zach Wheeler is on the mound, we all feel a certain sense of confidence, right? We all feel like, oh, man, Wheeler's on the mound. All right, we got a chance today. When Christopher Sanchez gets the start, we go, Ace is on the mound. Potential Cy Young candidate is on the mound. I feel good about this. When Jesus Luzardo is on the mound, man, I really like Jesus Luzardo. Isn't that a great first feeling to every baseball game? That when your starting pitcher is on the mound, that you have that kind of confidence in? Doesn't that make you think that you have a chance of winning regardless of the opponent? If I say out loud, Phillies versus Dodgers, who are you taking? Majority of people will take Dodgers. I would too. But if I told you Zach Wheeler's on the mound, how do you feel? Good. Christopher Sanchez is on the mound. How do you feel? Great. Jesus Luzardo is on the mound. How do you feel? Incredible. Well, if that's how you feel when those three guys are on the mound, it shouldn't matter who the opponent is. There's a reason why they're some of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. All right, coming up next, I want to hear from Luis Arraez because Luis Arraez, he had the big night yesterday in his debut. He spoke with Tom McCarthy and John Kruk afterward with NBC Sports Philadelphia. You're going to hear from Luis Arraez, and there's something that I picked up on. Well, we already know how infectious it is about this city, playing in this city. I bet you Luis Arraez experienced something last night that he truly has never really been able to experience. I'll tell you what it is next. It is Mornings with Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A great debut for Arraez. I'm Connor Thomas, and Luis Arraez had a strong debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at the bank. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs coming his first 2 at-bats of his Phil's tenure. Jesus Luzardo was also dominant on the mound, throwing 8 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. Caleb Killian threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phillies appearance to lock down the 15th shutout of the Phillies season. Arraez spoke after the game about sleeping good after his first game in Philly.
I mean, a few days I couldn't sleep. Yeah. I couldn't sleep thinking it, and then I say, where am I going to go? And then, but thanks God, I'm going to sleep tonight.
That audio via NBC Sports Philadelphia. The Phils have now won 4 straight. They'll try to make it 5 tonight at 6:40 p.m. Andrew Painter on the mound against Jake Irvin. The Eagles had a bit of an uncomfortable day in training camp yesterday with both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missing practice with hamstring injuries. Neither is believed to be serious or long-term, but it's an early reminder of how important health is at this time of the year. Vic Fangio will meet with the media today at 9:40 a.m. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of League's Cup group play. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco at 7:30 for a training camp check-in. Adam Schefter at 8:05 for some national perspective. And Jim Salisbury at 9:05 to break down the Phillies' new lineup. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Mornings with
this hour is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White is here for the pro.
It is 6:30 here on Kincaid Salciunas. Oh, my God. Not anymore. Damn it. That's the first slip.
Dude.
That was the first real slip. It took till Wednesday at 6:30.
It happens. You're distracted by the Backstreet Boys out
Yes.
there.
Well, I was locked in because I was about to say on Mornings with Salciunas that we're clearly, making some noise here with the Now That's What I Call Music, bump back music. Trevor Rice, our first comment on our YouTube chat this morning, like literally the very first one, at least the one that I saw. There may have been a couple of good morning ones because there's the family, and I appreciate our YouTube family. But Trevor Rice, the first comment I saw was, what Now CD is today. If you have not been listening earlier in the week, we have been bumping back from commercial break with music from random Now That's What I Call Music CDs. Because I heard Crazy by Gnarls Barkley and CeeLo earlier this week, and I was like, I bet you that's on a Now That's What I Call Music CD. I don't know why that's how my brain works, but you know me, my brain works in mysterious ways. So I said, Connor, pick random Now That's What I Call Music CDs as bump back music this week. So what is today's?
Today is Now 4 from the year 2000.
Jeez.
They thought it wasn't going to happen because of Y2K, but against all odds, they had Now That's What I Call Music in that year.
All right, so I did not realize that That's What I Call Music did predate 2000. Obviously, CDs 1 through 3 predated 2000. So now That's What I Call 4. Music from 2000. I can't wait. This is part of the reason why I love doing this job. I can't wait. Random music that will make me happy. All right, Phillies win yesterday, 5-0. Of course, I saw one of the comments on YouTube. I forget who said it. Somebody said, will those pitchers be batting? The ones that I talked about as to always having a chance to winning. I get it, guys. Nobody wants to get their hopes up for this baseball team. I understand why. Totally understand why. Look, if the Phillies lose in the first round of the playoffs, the beauty of my mentality, also kind of sickening, the beauty of my mentality is I would not even be remotely surprised if they don't win anything in the playoffs. Right? If they lose 1-0 in 3 straight games to the Dodgers, I would not be surprised. But the point I will continue to make is through 6 innings, I feel like I can guarantee having a chance to win a baseball game. Because if it is 0-0 through 6 innings and you're starting the top of the 7th and you have to win a game in 3 innings, the Phillies can do that. With this lineup, if somebody goes yard, they can do that. But the addition of Luis Arraez was such a big deal for me because now you're not relying on the home run. You are not relying on Schwarber, Turner, Harper to come through every single time because we ignore the fact that the other 6 guys in the orders have sucked. We do this all the time. Don't blame those guys. Blame the top 3. I get it. They earn the biggest share of the blame. But you can't have 6 other guys in the order also go dead in playoff series. And Luis Arraez is a guy that doesn't really go dead. The reason why he hits over 300 almost every single season. You make the case today as to why the Phillies are blank, as to why the Phillies are World Series contenders, as to why they have no shot. Whatever it is, no judgment here because I could see this Phillies team go on a run. I could see this Phillies team lose in the wild card round. 1-0 in each game, even though you have the great starting pitching that you do. 610-632-0975. I would like to hear your voices on this. So if you could call in, that'd be great. Voice memos, that would be great if you can't wait on hold. But, of course, we have the Davis Honda text line as well. Text them in 610-632-0975. But before we start getting some reaction, I do want to hear from Luis Arraez. He had the big night yesterday, 2 ribbies on the day. Very first at bat, gets the base hit. He's all fired up, man. Going back to first base after he took the hard turn. He loved it. He was fired up. This was Luis Arraez with John Kruk and Tom McCarthy on NBC Sports Philadelphia postgame.
Well, Luis, this was a nice way to begin your time in Philadelphia, to have a couple hits and get the ovation that you received right out of the gates.
And I mean, I was excited, especially when I hear the fans to get loud for me. It's amazing, you know. So they welcome me here, and then I'm coming to do my thing here, and then thanks God we won the game.
What are these last few days been like not
Ooh.
knowing where you were going to go?
I mean, the few days I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep thinking it, and then I say, where am I go? And then, but thanks God, I'm going to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember coming here as a visiting player, how loud this place is. It's a hell of a lot more fun on this side, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, especially in home club, man, and then coming here and to do something good for the fans, to the team, and then now it was amazing.
I love it. I love it. And something that I really took away from that moment yesterday, this may be, well, we already know how great of a fan base we are, but this may be the first time Luis Arraez has experienced life in a ballpark. Look at where he's played. Minnesota for 4 years. All right. Play, in front of the Twins faithful. Miami. Like, you could literally just sneak into that stadium and they'd welcome you. They'd
You
say,
can bring a beer into the dugout, too.
yeah, you could. Presidentes, man. Like, you could literally just walk into that building without a ticket, I imagine. They'd just be like, that's all right. Come on in. San Diego, decent fan base. I'm not going to say, like, a bad fan base, but it's not Philadelphia. Like, they're Cali cool. Like, it's not the way that it is here. And it's not Dodgers fans, right? Like, it's Padres fans. And then he's with the Giants, which is a great fan base, but they suck this year. So if you're Luis Arraez, that moment yesterday, coming through in the first inning, not only was it great for him to be like, look, I'm here. I made an impact immediately. I'm fired up because I made an impact immediately with this new team that I'm a part of. And I just went from a horrific team, a team that's not going to make the playoffs, to a team that does have World Series aspirations, expectations, standards. He was fired up. And, man, honestly, the fan base showing the emotion that they did when he got the hit, I think that got people going, too. I think that fired up Arraez even more. So it was a great night yesterday. And this fan base can be infectious for a player like that. A player like that could be infectious for this fan base where, look, you came through, you showed energy. I loved it. It was a great night last night. I will say, though, it looked a little empty yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that was.
Well, you know what the deal with that is. They've been playing bad baseball, right? And people don't want to spend their hard-earned money.
I guess, but dude, down in Baltimore, it was a hugely Philadelphia crowd.
It was. It was. I wonder how many people picked that a while ago. It's a trip, right? Like you're not waking up that morning and saying, "Hey, let's drive down to Baltimore and go to the Orioles games." Part of the sellout crowds that the Phillies have is not just season ticket holders. It's the gate. It's the I need to get down there for the ball game today. Like our own Ray Dunn, who's like, I need to get there, right? Like he starts itching if he's not down there. There weren't many people there yesterday, and so hopefully a night like last night where the new guy comes through the way that he does sort of gets people going back to the ballpark a little bit. But also, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. Screw the fan base. I love you guys.
Wow.
I don't mean that. Don't clip that.
Jeez,
But
oh my God.
forget about that. How about the team? I'm glad that the fans were into Arraez last night, but I need the guys on the field to wake up. And I know they were winning going into the deadline. They had that 2-game winning streak going in. They needed a vibe change for them.
Yeah.
And you could tell how fired up they were getting over what Arraez was doing and the way that he's interacting with his teammates. I know one game, I don't want to overreact. I'm glad the fans are having a good time. But to me, I care a lot more about whether the guys on the field are awake and he feels like he can wake up this team.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Earlier today, you already told me I was right about something. So, I'm already on cloud 9 that Connor Thomas said Andrew Salciunas is right about this baseball.
I'm just gassing you up, baby.
Score another one for little Andy over here.
Little Andy.
I'm going to take you into the life of Dave Dombrowski. He's got the shopping cart. All right, he's in the groceries. I don't know if Dave Dombrowski does his own grocery shopping, but he's going down the produce aisle. I could go for a nice salad tonight. He's got the salad. He goes to the poultry, gets some chicken, and then he was pushing his shopping cart, and he did one of those screeching halts. What's that? What is spices? What does that sign say? Seasoning? Huh. Let me go down this aisle that I haven't shopped in a while. I'm going to continue to say it. This team was too damn white the last couple of years, man. I'm dead serious. It is a take that I will continue to push. This team, it was country club. It was, this is our job. Let's go to work today, and let's try to win a baseball game. Whereas there are guys where this is their life. And now all of a sudden, Arraez, my man De La Cruz. I'm a big De La Cruz fan.
I know you are.
Crawford, Duran, Alvarado's been here. Hill, you know, Dave Dombrowski looked at the bowl and basket spice counter and said, you know what? I think we need to add a little bit here. It's a different energy, man. I stand by it. Like, it's great to do the Bryce Harper doing the this is my team, this is my city thing. So I got it, Sosa. I forget.
Yeah,
the pitchers love him. Like, I can't forget that one. Like, I'm serious, man. Like, energy is important over a long season. You need to be able to have fun. And what is the thing that we talk about this team every single year in the playoffs? Sphincters.
Yeah, tight.
Like, every single time, they need to loosen up. And if it takes a slap-hitting singles machine, let's go, man. I think it's important. I'm
agree
serious. Like, I'm not trying to be some silly guy on the radio. Like, I mean it. You can't be bland every single day. And it doesn't have to be the way you look. All right? Because Harrison Bader looked just like everybody else when he got here. But Harrison Bader brought a swagger. Harrison Bader had fun playing baseball. Does this team look like a team that has had fun playing baseball the last couple of years? No. They look freaking miserable. Trey Turner couldn't have fun with Elmo being in the when Elmo was here. Oh, what is Elmo doing here? Like, lighten up. You're getting paid to play baseball, man.
Yes.
Have fun.
Sometimes you need a guy that'll run into the back of a fire truck to win a baseball game.
Yes.
Like,
dude, Aaron Rowan ran into the wall to catch a baseball. All right? Like, you need that. You need that energy. Again, it doesn't matter how you look.
Right.
All right? Let me make that clear before anybody gets offended, because we get offended over the tiniest things these days. But they needed life. And Dave Dombrowski finally turned to aisle 12 and said, what is spices? Let me add to this.
I also need to know what the new celebration is. I need a bit of an explanation there.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Hey, bro, if it works.
That was middle school Salciunas. All right, coming up next, we get your answers on today's topic. All right? You make the case for whatever it is. Whether you think the Phillies are World Series contenders, whether you think they're not going to make the playoffs, whether you think they have no shot at beating the Dodgers, you make the case today. It could be positive. It could be negative. I'm Mr. Negative about the Phillies a lot of the times, but I will continue to tell you that they have a chance of winning when Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, and Jesus Luzardo are on the mound. Every time those guys are on the mound, through 6 innings, I have a chance of winning a baseball game. 610-632-0975. But also, big announcement on the station yesterday. There's one thing I'm worried about, and I'll explain more coming up next here on Mornings with Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
#1 prediction market platform. A great debut for Luis Arraez last night. Hey, Philadelphia's won 4 straight. They're kind of warming up, and easy August, maybe find their way into a good spot for October. Philadelphia is currently trading at a 5% probability to win it all, meaning a $100 trade is going to pay you out over $1,800 with a win. You don't want to trade on LA. You're not going to get anything on that. Pick a team that you think could maybe knock them off. Philadelphia could be that team. The best part is on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. So download the Kalshi app, but make sure you use code Fanatic when you do, because you're going to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. No. Blue Man Group. They don't talk.
What's this guy? It's the robot guys.
This is Eiffel 65.
Oh, I've never. No, I know.
Yeah, they're
Who?
one hit.
Who are the robot guys that I was thinking of?
Are you thinking like Daft Punk?
Maybe. Yeah. They're all the same. That's awesome. I know.
They're not.
They're all the same. That's awesome. That song's a classic, man.
It is.
It's great. All right, now that's what I call 4 CD. That's our bump back music today. All right, before we get to some reaction on today's topic, you make the case as to why the Phillies are blank. I'm making the case as to why they're still World Series contenders today. And it's really just about the 3 starting pitchers and the fact that you don't have a guy that will completely go ice cold because he just tries to hit singles. He doesn't try to do too much, which has plagued this lineup for the last couple of years. But the new lineup was announced yesterday, Connor. We don't have to do our sappy goodbye. I already dealt with that last Friday. But we will do that in a couple of weeks when you make your way over to Middays to be the fine producer of Brace and Dunn, Ray Dunn, Sean Brace, and Connor Thomas on our midday show. Happy for everybody involved. And, of course, there is mornings now. Scott listened to 2 shows of Mornings with Salciunas. Said this isn't going to cut it.
I get it.
We need to bring in a big dog. Mornings with Salciunas isn't going to cut it. We've known for a while. Johnny Marks. I will be working with Johnny Marks, which I'm really excited about. I put it out on social media yesterday. I interned for him 12 years ago. So wild that I'm still here, and wild that John's back, and wild that we will be working together. But I do have a concern.
What's the issue?
Well, in the 7 o'clock hour, a lot of you will get angry again because there is a new quarterback ranking list that came out. And it's not good for Jalen. You have 2 non-Club Hertz members running the morning show.
Oh, that's no good.
Not great. 2 guys that are, and it's not that I already saw somebody, it's funny, somebody must have known where I was going at with this because somebody on our YouTube chat said, they're both haters of Hertz. No, I just don't go over the top like a lot of people do with their love of Jalen Hurts. I really, really like Jalen Hurts for what he has accomplished in Philadelphia, and I will continue to say that his aura, as the kids are saying these days, is really important in this city. The way he can handle the difficulties of Philadelphia, whether it's the media, whether it's the fans, whatever, there is something really important to have that mentality, and that's what Jalen Hurts has. But, yeah, sure, there are quarterbacks that I look at and I say, yeah, that guy's better than Jalen Hurts, and I don't have an issue saying it. There are a lot of people that have a tough time saying that because all he does is win, and you guys are right about that. But you're going to have 2 non-Club Hertz members. I'm the bouncer, if you remember. It's not that I'm out. It's not that I don't want to be in. It's just I would feel wrong to say that I'm inside the club. So that's why I'm on the outside as a bouncer.
Yeah, I'm also club adjacent. And that's going to be interesting with Sean and Ray and Middays.
Well, I mean, Sean's the founder. Him and Brendan Petrelli are the founders of Club Hertz.
So I'm going to have to talk to them. I'm going to see what the drink specials are. I'm going to have to see what the cover is.
You could be Switzerland.
Well, we'll see. I feel like they're not going to let me be neutral on that one. So I'm going to have to figure out where I stand.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're going to have to either buy a ticket or not. But I'm scanning the tickets. That's my job here. Like, I'm the guy that says, yeah, you could come in. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. And then I can also say, yeah, he's a good quarterback. My tone can shift on the given day.
Yeah, but you're employed. There's no loitering outside of Club Hertz.
Yeah.
You're either in or
you're
out.
either in or you're out. Or you make the stance that you're not going to go in on either of the clubs. Because I'm not club anti-Hertz. I'm just, what does John call it? Johnny Marks, objective Hertz. Club objective Hertz. That's kind of the club that I'm in.
It's a little wordy. I don't know if that'll work.
Well, I'm definitely more objective than in the actual club. So August 17th, start of the new show. Looking forward to it. All right, we have a voice memo already. I appreciate when people answer the call right away. We have a voice memo. You make the case today as to why the Phillies are blank. What do we got?
Joe the Cynic checks in to lead us off.
Hey, boys, Joe the Cynic. Don't see them as contenders quite yet, but what I'm looking for is to see who's going to pick up what Arraez is doing, mainly Crawford, Stott. I think those two would benefit tremendously watching him every day. Crawford especially, since he's very similar. No power, pretty decent contact rate. Won't lift the ball much, which I really don't care. Hit the ball down and run your butt off. Then you got, Bohm and Real Muto hitting into 6,000 double plays a year. But other than that, I'm liking the trend if it's going to stay this way. Schwarber had me a little puzzled being in the leadoff spot. The only thing I could think there is Mattingly trying to get him some more ABs to get out of whatever the heck he ate that messed up his stomach that he still hasn't bounced back from.
Yeah, the whole Schwarber gastroenteritis, it's been a running thing for Schwarber.
Too much lettuce, man.
Yeah, he's got to put down the Taylor Farms, man. Yeah, look, it's funny. You think about this Phillies team. We went from the boom and bust Phillies to the, hey, get on base Phillies. Because he's right. Like, Crawford and Stott, I loved their games yesterday. They both had 2 hits yesterday. They both got on base. And you know what's really important? And it's why I would always fight the people that go, don't worry about the bottom of the order. We have to worry about Turner, Schwarber, and Harper. That's 3 guys out of 9. That's 6 other players that need to get on base. You can't just ignore the other 6 players. That's 2/3 of your lineup. And people would do that. The Phillies will lose a playoff series. It's because of those 3 guys. Yeah, they absolutely had a factor in losing playoff series. But you know what else had a factor? 6 guys in your order going straight down. Bang, 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 bang. That's a problem. Crawford and Stott both having 2 hits yesterday. Crawford, it's early. 4 games in the month of August. 455 in August, 260 in the month of July, and 307 in the month of June. That's what, look, hit the ball, hit singles. You know how many home runs he's hit during this span?
0?
0. I don't care. Get on base so that the guys that do drive in runs get up to bat with somebody on base. You can't ignore 7, 8, 9 in the order. The Phillies have done that for too long. They're finally not. We'll see how the lineup's constructed. I know we don't like the Schwarber leadoff thing. Some people do, some people don't. It's usually an analytics guy likes it and a non-analytics guy doesn't like it, right? That's usually how it is. I don't care as long as it works. As old school as I am with baseball, I don't care as long as it works. I just look at it like, all right, if Arraez is getting on base, I'd rather Schwarber be behind him so that he could hit the home runs, and 1 run is not as much as 2 runs. That's how I look at it. All right, coming up next. More on the debut of Luis Arraez, more Phillies talk because this is a party today. But also, oh boy, we have another quarterback ranking list to get angry about. Well, some of you will. Some of us won't. We'll talk about it next. Mornings with Salciunas here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night for Arraez. I'm Connor Thomas, and Luis Arraez had a strong debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at the bank. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs coming in his first 2 at-bats of his Phillies tenure. Not to be outdone, Jesus Luzardo was dominant on the mound, throwing 8 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts, and Caleb Killian threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phillies appearance. Don Mattingly talked after the game about Arraez's approach at the plate.
The one thing with Luis, you see that he's not afraid to take a pitch, not afraid to hit with a strike. You can tell the confidence he has. So it's just a guy that knows what he's doing up there.
The Phils are starting to look like they know what they're doing. They've won 4 straight now. They'll try to make it 5 tonight. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Andrew Painter faces off against Jake Irvin. The Eagles had a bit of an uncomfortable day in training camp yesterday with both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missing practice with hamstring injuries. Neither is believed to be serious or long-term, but an early reminder of how important health is at this time of the year. Vic Fangio is going to meet with the media today at 9:40. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of Leagues Cup group play. And we got a busy day on the show. Andrew DeCecco joins us at 7:30 to talk training camp. Adam Schefter, 8:05. Jim Salisbury talks the new Phil's lineup at 9:05. This update is brought to you by the New Jersey Department of Health. Public health works behind the scenes, building a healthier future for everyone. One mission working for you. Learn more at nj.gov/health. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
You tell it like it is.
Now that's what I call 4 bump back music. No idea who this is. I don't even think I know this song unless I hear the chorus.
You will.
All right, so I got
This is J-Lo, by the way.
Ah, big fan. Should have known. Luis Arraezing a Philly, waiting for tonight. So watch 2 more singles. I mean, it's unbelievable. Luis Arraezing steps onto the field and just goes, hey, do you guys remember how to play baseball? Let me show you. Let me show how it's done. I cannot wait. 8:47, I'm already telling you to lock in, Connor. I may have done my best work ever. And it's something in honor of Luis Arraezing.
It's about time you start doing some work around here.
And I don't want to give too much information because I really want you to enjoy this segment without having any idea with where I'm going at. But I can't wait for 8:47 because it is such an Andrew Salciunas segment in honor of Luis Arraezing. So that comes your way. An hour and 45 minutes from now, set your alarms. All right, coming up this segment, a new quarterback ranking dropped, and a lot of you are going to be angry about it. And we'll talk about it. And there's audio with it. And we'll see how people feel. And I read an article this morning about Jalen Hurts. And I just know that this season, part of the reason why I think I'm so excited for this season, because I've talked about my excitement for the season, is we are going to get an answer. And it's a question that people don't even want to talk about. But it is a legitimate question. On whether or not you give him the $60 million extension, you give him the guaranteed money after this season comes to an end. And we will only find that out by how he plays this year. And people seem to have trouble realizing that. I get why. All he does is win. Why would you consider moving on? The Eagles have a really big financial decision to make. And they've already made some pretty big financial decisions with some of the players already on this roster and have other players that they have to make some major financial decisions with. You guys like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell? Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, who they've already paid?
Big fan of all their work.
Somebody's not going to get paid. Doesn't mean it has to be Jalen Hurts. I mean, you should pay the quarterback if you believe that's the guy. We'll talk about it coming up in a few minutes. But I do want to get some more reaction on today's topic. You make the case as to why the Phillies are what? 610-632-0975. What do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. And then we got to check the poll of the day as well, brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and the team at Iron Mountain Men's Health, because the poll is always strong in the morning here. And I know it's about yesterday's lineup, so I can't wait to hear from the people. What do we got on the text line?
Mike from Phoenixville is also talking about yesterday's lineup, and he says, I like Arraezing 4th. The Phillies struggle with situational baseball, like second and third, 2 outs, a runner on first and second. 1-out singles aren't the worst in those spots, better than Mr. Double Play Alec Baum.
I love that. They're not the worst. No, they're great. 2-run singles are great. Stat guys. 2-run singles are great. 3-run home runs are better because that's simple math. 3 is greater than 2. But 2-run singles are great. Like when we get to the playoffs, and again, I'll bring up the Larry Bowa thing. If you missed it, at the beginning of the show, I told you guys a story from spring training a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. I did a Q&A with Larry Bowa and Jason Worth. And somebody asked from the audience, hey, your thoughts on analytics. And Larry Bowa said, look, they're a useful tool. You need those in baseball. It's a long season. You need every bit of information that you can get. But what he found funny that is game 1 playoffs, analytics don't go out the window. You're still looking at matchups, and you're still looking at lineup construction. How does this guy hit against left-handed pitching versus how that guy hits against right-handed pitching? Oh, wait. You mean the numbers that have always been there? But Larry Bowa said, once you get to the playoffs, you start seeing sacrifice bunts again. You start seeing guys in motion. You start seeing hit and runs again. You see things that teams are so against for 162 games, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs they want to do things that you did years ago. And maybe if you practice it throughout the season, you don't have Nick Castellanos on second base and trying to bunt him over to third. Like, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe that fiasco doesn't go down. Maybe the Phillies win that baseball game, and maybe that series is completely different. But Luis Arraez hitting 2-run singles in October will get the same crowd pop as a home run, because runs are runs in the playoffs. And with this pitching staff, that's what you need. That's why the addition of Luis Arraez was so big. You have a consistent approach in the lineup, a guy that just goes out there and hits, whether it's driving in runs or getting on base for the other guys to drive him in. That was a major pickup for the Phillies. I know it was one game. I know it was the Nationals, but I've been standing on this point forever about this rotation. You just needed to add to the lineup, and they finally did that. They finally went for somebody that can just get on base. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike and Delran. Michael! What's up, brother?
Yo, Judas! What's going on, buddy?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Hey, John Marks, how you doing, man? Welcome to the morning show.
Well, he's not here yet. He got a couple more weeks. He's sleeping in for the next.
Wait, who am I talking to? Who's that over there?
It's just me. Oh, Connor's producing.
Oh, Connor, what's up, dude?
What's up, Mike?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the
I
show.
get confused for John Marks all the time.
Have you missed all of the tweets and Instagrams and the promos? August 17th it starts. 12 days from now.
Listen, you know I did, and I'm sorry, man. How long has it been? Like 3 years, probably, right?
Since you
2 or
called.
3? I don't know how long it's been.
Since you
I've been
called in?
calling, Yeah.
It's been about that long.
Yeah, well, you know, I told you, I made a promise. I said once some things changed, I was going to be back, and your boy's back.
Well, you're back.
I'm so excited, dude. Because, like, man, so many things have happened, and it's going to be happening that, like, I just wanted to talk to you guys about. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron James is a Sixer, dude. I couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you guys.
Thanks, brother.
It's fun to be a Philly sports fan again. I didn't know that move was going to be as big of a move as it was for the Phillies, right? And, you know, I thought it wasn't enough, but, you know, last night
it depends on how you view baseball, Mike, right? Like, I am a simple man, like, very simple. Like, do I come home and get hugged by my son? It's a good day, right? Like, that's me.
Right,
when it comes to baseball, I don't need, like, oh, man, home run, home run, home run. Yo, get on base, dude. Because part of the reason why they've been losing in the playoffs is the reliance of home run, home run, home run. And then when the home runs go dry because it's cold or it's tight and the team gets tight, you're not hitting home runs, you're not winning games. You need a guy that can just get on base. And now you have a guy that does it at an elite level. He's won 3 batting titles, 4 batting. Could win his 4th this year.
So, Cheers, let me ask you a quick question before I hop off. I know I got a lot of time here. Why has this guy been on for 4 or 5 teams in so many years, though, if he's that great?
Because baseball people overthink everything. They look at him and they go, all right, we're not going to pay him $20 million because all he does is hit singles. And so he's going to go, well, why should I play for this team that doesn't value me? I'm going to go to a team, and thanks for the call, brother. Great hearing from you. I'm going to go to the team that's going to offer me the most money. And that's what he got from the San Francisco Giants. It's what he got when he got traded to San Diego. Teams that offer him the most money because he's not going to get the $300 million contract, right? Luis Arraez could be a 10-time batting champion, and he's going to probably be on 1-year deals doing it every single time because teams don't value it. Teams look at the roster and they go, all right, who are we going to pay? Who's the superstar that we're going to keep around for the long haul? And that's why he bounces around. It's why other guys bounce around. Kenny Lofton bounced around. Right? There was a bunch of guys that bounced around because they weren't people that you thought we can build a roster around this guy. No, this is a guy that you add to your roster, and the Phillies, this group, is desperate for that kind of player.
Yeah, we need to start a new campaign for the rest of the year. The singles are sexy campaign because we've got to just embrace what he does. I can't believe baseball hasn't in his career. I mean, John Crux on the broadcast last night talking about how this guy is modern-day Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
And then at one point, which I do think is too far, he's like, maybe Tony Gwynn was the old-fashioned version of Luis Arraez, which that's...
Yeah, we don't have to get there.
But obviously a little tongue-in-cheek there from John Kruk on the debut night. This guy's special, man. And we've got to promote the fact that singles are still sexy.
They are still sexy, man. And it's just a shame that teams don't value it. But I hope that this Phillies team does, because in this lineup, it is totally valuable. Because he's either getting on base for the guys that hit home runs, or if the guys who hit home runs don't get home runs, he's at least continuing the lineup. He's getting on base. He's soon to be a 4-time batting champion. He didn't win it last year because Trey Turner won it. 610-632-0975. All right, the latest list to get angry about was from The Athletic. Mike Sando. Diana Rossini was busy. So Mike Sando.
Come on, man.
Mike Sando had to put together the quarterback ranking. And he did it his own way, you know? Jalen Hurts came in at not 1. That was Patrick Mahomes. He didn't come in at number 2 either. And like the ESPN poll that a lot of people were really upset about, these coaches and scouts and executives, they don't know anything. Like that poll, he didn't come in at number 10 either, top 10. He didn't come in top 15. Jalen Hurts, for another ranking, came in at number 17. I still think it's crazy, all right? As I'm being painted as a Jalen Hurts hater, it is just insane to say that Jalen Hurts is a bottom-half quarterback in the NFL. That was like our biggest takeaway. When we went through the Fowler ranking and Hurts came in at number 17, our biggest takeaway, I remember you and I saying it, Connor, was like, Jalen Hurts is not a bottom-half quarterback. Like, if you put it on its surface, he is not a bottom-half quarterback. Do I believe he's a top-5 quarterback? No. Do I believe on a given year he could be a top 10 quarterback? Absolutely. Because I think we were saying it 2 years ago that he was a top 10 quarterback. He was like 8th. It's a case that anybody could make. But off of last year, and now 2 straight years where the passing offense was toward the bottom, he comes in at number 17. And it's not just the passing offense. People continue to make the point that if he was in a different situation, he would not have the same success that he has had. And I do think that's BS to take away from Jalen Hurts. But when you're ranking players, you use every bit of information that you can. Hey, if this guy was on a less roster, would he still be the great quarterback that he was? If this guy was on an incredible roster, would he be higher up in the ranking? Like if Joe Burrow, a guy that everybody gets upset about when he's ranked higher than Jalen Hurts, if Joe Burrow did not have traffic cones blocking for him, he had an offensive line that consisted of Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Tyler Steen, or the Super Bowl season, Mekhi Becton and Lane Johnson at the right tackle. Joe Burrow would probably throw for 5,000 yards on this offense that had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. He just would, and people don't want to hear it. Now, we can say, would he come up small in the playoffs? Very fair thing to say, because I know that Jalen Hurts does not come up small in the playoffs. I know that Jalen Hurts uplifts his game in the playoffs. I know that Jalen Hurts can handle this city. There are a lot of things extremely valuable about Jalen Hurts, and that's what I try to say every time I talk about the quarterback, because people get upset that I don't give him full credit for a lot of the things that he does. I do give him credit for all those attributes that Jalen Hurts has. But there is a thing to style of play, things that you like, things that you don't like. I do believe that if Jalen Hurts is not running as much, that he's not as fearful as a thrower of the football. Last year, we didn't see him run much. I know you pitched one of the topics you pitched. Is that a Patullo thing, or is that a Jalen Hurts thing? I don't know. We heard 70 different reports, but I don't know who to believe, because I think Kevin Patullo did a lot of leaking because of sour grapes, right? We'll see this year. But if Jalen Hurts does not run the football, I don't think he's as effective, and that's a concern of mine. And that's something that we will really find out this year, because if I'm Jalen Hurts and I'm talking about getting a big payday, I'm running. I'm using my legs this year. Contract year, kind of. I know people will say, he's under contract for 2 more years. The guaranteed money drops off. He's not going to play under this current contract. It's going to be renegotiated on. It's up to the Eagles to decide whether or not they want to pay him $60 million. So he comes in at number 17 on this list, another 17th ranking for Jalen Hurts. We're continuing to monitor the top 100 player ranking. Jalen Hurts did pretty well in terms of the grand scheme of things, but I wonder where he's at in terms of the quarterbacks, because we're still only in the 30s. man, they are dragging this thing out.
Content, baby.
Yeah, it's content. There are, as of right now, I believe 4 quarterbacks ahead of Jalen Hurts, but he's higher than some of the guys in the previous ranking. But this was Mike Sando. He was on with Dan Patrick, and they were talking about his ranking of 17. Dan Patrick hates the low rankings of Jalen Hurts. Dan Patrick is like a lot of Eagles fans saying he wins. Like, I don't care about the way he throws the football, the strength of his arm. I don't care about that stuff. In the fourth quarter of a playoff game, I want Jalen Hurts as my quarterback, and I totally understand that. So this was Sando's reasoning as to why Jalen Hurts came in at number 17.
It's hard to parse out credit in football, harder than other ones when you have great teams around him or not. And I think he's really done it when he's had the best offensive line in the league. They've had a great running game that he's a big part of. And increasingly, at least lately, they've had a really good defense. So, would the Eagles trade, put it this way, how many players ranked higher on this list would the Eagles trade Hurts for? I think it'd be a lot of them.
Who would you trade?
This is what I think about Jalen Hurts. How excited do you think they are right now to sign him to give him a raise and a big extension?
Probably not thrilled.
And do you think they just picked up a 2028 first-round pick in that A.J. Brown trade? When they did that, my mind kind of went to, I wonder how much longer Jalen Hurts is their quarterback. And if Jalen Hurts were available, would people be clamoring to get him? I mean, he would make money and get a job, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it'd be the same as if those guys above him were.
I think it's unfair to ignore what Jalen Hurts has accomplished. I think it's wrong for people to just look at what he's accomplished. It sounds crazy, and I'm sorry. I know it sounds crazy. But the last 2 years, in terms of what his craft is, the passing offense, it has not been good. He was great in the NFC Championship game. He was great in the Super Bowl. No better time for it. Why? Because of those attributes that I always talk about, that I'm always speaking highly of. Cool under pressure. Really important for your quarterback to be that in the NFL. Knows how to be careful with the football. Very important in big games where every drive matters. There are a lot of things about Jalen Hurts that I really, really like. The question's going to be for Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and the Philadelphia Eagles to decide. Are those attributes enough for $60 million, or are you going to look for that and also the extra other things? The better arm, the better pocket passer, all those kinds of stuff. It's a conversation that a lot of people don't want to have, and I think it's wrong to ignore it. But I also believe it is unfair. When you heard Mike Sando talk there, it was almost like, what has Jalen Hurts done? He's done a lot. He's won a Super Bowl. And when they did go through the list of the quarterbacks that the Eagles would trade for. It was a lot of them. They went through a lot of names. But, one of the names they talked about was Justin Herbert. And I've seen that guy melt. I would not want Justin Herbert as the quarterback of the Eagles. Do I think Justin Herbert is a better arm and certain attributes better than Jalen Hurts? I do. But do I know that guy has peed himself in the playoffs every single time he's there? Yes. I don't want that. So I wouldn't trade Jalen Hurts for anybody that's ahead of him in the ranking. I wouldn't trade him for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has 10 times the arm of Jalen Hurts and could throw for 4,000 yards every single year. I know he's going to come up small, and I know he's going to throw a big interception. I don't want Dak Prescott over Jalen Hurts. That's not an Eagles-Cowboys bias. It's, I've seen this guy come through. I've seen that guy come up small. It's a really interesting conversation, though, and it's why, Connor, I've been saying for weeks, this is the number one storyline going into a season.
Yeah,
how does Jalen Hurts play?
That's the thing. Listen to how he's viewed around the league, whether you agree with it or not. There's a lot of noise about the questions around who Jalen Hurts can be when he's at his best and how consistently he can be at his best. And that's all the conversation is. If there are questions about this guy, for all of his strengths, it takes a lot for you to give a second monster contract when you have other guys that you have to play. And the Eagles want to make sure that they're making a smart investment.
This is total barroom topic.
Okay, I like it.
And I'm afraid to even ask it. I don't even want you. Don't even put out a Twitter poll about it, because then we're going to be compared to another place, and I don't even want to do it. But let's say there was a question that somebody asked. Go ahead, you guys down the street, you can steal it. You had to pick between Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalix Hunt. Who else you want to throw in there? Zach Bond or Jalen Hurts?
I'd pick Hurts.
I would pick the defense.
I know but you got to think about it, right? Quarterbacks, you talk all the time about the quarterback play in the NFL.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Like, it's very hard to find one. Yeah. This is rich people problems.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you're like, I'd rather pay the defense because it's easy to look at having a quarterback when you have one. You also can look around the NFL at a lot of teams that never get one.
Yeah. No, you're right, dude. Like, look at the Arizona Cardinals. They literally had Jacoby Brissett sitting out. They were doing the hold-in until he got his contract renegotiated. Like, that's horrible. Imagine being a Cardinals fan. You're right. We have rich people problems. But in terms of the Eagles, the rich get richer. And somebody's not going to. And the defense is what wins these football games
also,
majority of the time.
The reason it's barroom is because Howie Roseman's going to find a way to pay pretty much everybody anyway.
Yeah. You're right.
Which is nice to have Howie.
He absolutely will figure it out. All right, coming up next, we had him in on Monday. We'll have him on again in the next segment. I've been wanting to do, not daily, but multiple training camp reports from our man Andrew DeCecco, who is down there every single day at the Jefferson Health Facility, NovaCare. And he's been giving us some nice, great updates and reports on what the Eagles team are doing. But there's some pretty bad updates right now. There's a lot of injuries. I hope it's just precautionary, some of the guys, but the hamstring bug has hit the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll try to get to the bottom on some of the health statuses of some of these players. Lane Johnson has been absent for non-health related reasons. Again, knowing Lane Johnson's past, we hope that everything is okay. Maybe Andrew DeCecco has heard something. But DeCecco will join us next for his latest training camp update. It is Mornings with Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phils make it 4 straight. I'm Connor Thomas, and Luis Arraez had a strong debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at the bank. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs coming in his first 2 at-bats of his Phillies tenure. Jesus Luzardo was dominant on the mound, throwing 8 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. And Caleb Killian, who was also acquired in that Arraez trade, threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phillies appearance. Arraez spoke after the game with the NBC Sports Philadelphia broadcast about sleeping good after his first game in Philly.
I mean, a few days I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep thinking it, and then I say, where am I going to go? And then, but thanks God, I'm going to sleep tonight.
I think everyone in Philadelphia was sleeping good after that performance by him and the Phils, who have now won 4 straight games. They'll try to make it 5 tonight at 6:40 p.m. Andrew Painter faces Jake Irvin. The Eagles had a bit of an uncomfortable day in training camp yesterday. Both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missing practice with hamstring injuries. Neither is believed to be serious or long-term, but an early reminder of how important health is at this time in the NFL offseason. Vic Fangio will meet with the media today at 9:40. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of Leagues Cup group play. Andrew DeCecco will join us coming up next for a little bit of a training camp update. Adam Schefter joins us at 8:05 for the National Perspective, and Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philly joins us at 9:05 to talk about the Phils lineup changes. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino and sportsbook. Must be 21 plus in PA, New Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jack Johnson?
Dude,
That's my guess. Dave Matthews?
this is from the year 2000. This is not Jack Johnson. Has he been around that long?
Yeah, dude. What the hell are you talking
I think
about?
he's more. I thought he was more recent. Well, maybe I'm crazy. This is
No.
Train, though.
Oh, okay. All right, they all sound the same. Yeah, Jack Johnson's been in the game for a long time.
Has he
man.
really? I don't know. Jack Johnson's not in the wheelhouse for me.
His first big hit was on an album in 1999. So there you go.
My fault, Jack Johnson.
And I'm the
I was not-
non-music guy.
You haven't gotten a song right all week unless it's Rihanna.
Yeah, well, and that's for obvious reasons. All right, if you're just tuning in, bump back music. Now that's what I call, and then whatever CD Connor picks today, it's now that's what I call 4. And that's why all the music is from 2000 today. And I know that a big fan of 2000 soft rock music is our next guest. I know he's a big fan of it. From Inside the Birds. Covers the Eagles, does a great job all over the place here on the Fanatic. My man Andrew DeCecco for his, daily training camp update, because you weren't on yesterday. I can't really call it that. What's up, Andrew?
Well, listen, you had Nickelback on yesterday, and now you have Train. Should I be concerned?
Well, I mean, it's not that we want to do it. It's I want to play now, that's what I call, and then random numbered CDs, and whatever's on it is on it. Like, I can't be the judge as to who thought was hot back in the day.
I actually had, like, now 1 through now 6 or something when I was a kid.
Oh my God, that's awesome. And but the thing is with you, because you like rock. Like, in case people don't know, Andrew DeCecco, you like all kinds of things, but you like rock. Like, Def Leppard's one of your favorite bands. I would imagine when you're buying those CDs, you probably skipped a couple of songs per CD.
Yeah, probably half, but yeah.
Probably half. I'm going to buy a CD and skip half the songs on it. All right, Andrew, training camp update. We didn't have you on yesterday, but we got you on this morning. And, man, what timing to have you on this morning, because there's a lot of guys banged up right now. The severity of some of these injuries, you let us know. A couple of hamstrings, Devontae Smith, Mekhi Lemon. We know that Grenard's been out because of the pec. So what's going on the injury front with some of these Eagles at training camp?
Yeah, and Britton Covey left practice early yesterday. He was actually opening with the first team. That tells you how light the Eagles were at wide receiver. But neither injury to Mekhi Lemon or Devontae Smith is believed to be a long-term concern. But in the case of Mekhi Lemon, naturally there's going to be a little bit of apprehension there because he missed the spring with the hamstring, and now a practice and a half this summer. This is valuable time for him to learn the offense and really build that chemistry with Jalen Hurts. So needless to say, you'd like to see your rookie wide receiver out there if you're the Eagles. So we'll learn more today when a little after 10 o'clock when we start to take stock of who's out there and who's not out there. But those are the big ones right now, and we'll see what else happens from there.
Does it worry you with Lemon, not just in terms of a learning curve, but he's a guy that's really shifty as a wide receiver, and in Sean Mannion's offense, we've been talking about it since they drafted him, how Sean Mannion can kind of use him all over the field. You can use him in the slot, all kinds of routes. This is his, second hamstring bug already since he's been drafted with the Eagles. Is that something that you'd be concerned about for a player like this?
It's certainly something that has to be on your radar, and anytime you sustain another one after a long layoff like they had, at a skill position, that's not something that you want to take lightly. I don't expect the Eagles to rush him back for the sake of getting immersed in the offense. They're going to make sure that they do everything that they can that this doesn't creep up again. But whenever you have a soft tissue injury for a player with that kind of skill set, Andrew, really good short area quickness, good route runner, and good after the catch, that's something that is going to raise a little, varying degrees of concern. But we'll see what happens if Makai's back out there, or if in fact we get a little bit more clarity on it. But yeah, that's certainly something that you don't want to see this early, especially.
Has there been any word on why Lane Johnson has been missing practice? I mean, I think we all of our minds go to the same place when it's listed as non-injury, and the openness that Lane Johnson has been with his struggles of mental health. Has there been any talk about why Lane Johnson has been out for non-injury related?
Not at this time, no. It is a little curious because the last time that Lane Johnson spoke, he was in, great spirits, and he seemed really bullish and optimistic about the prospects of this offense and how that could help him at this stage of his career. So I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning could be. It's personal, and we'll that's something that you're going to monitor, because it's now been, I think, 3 practices where Lane hasn't been out there. And as a byproduct of that, rookie Markel Bell has gotten opportunities at right tackle, valuable opportunities, and Fred Johnson as well. So that's the other side of this thing. You're getting a rookie tackle who's getting a lot of crucial reps at this stage of his career, and he's going to look to build off of that. But to answer your question, Andrew, I don't have any additional clarity on the status of Lane Johnson. That's something I've been efforting to gather more information on.
Now, as you know, you and I just have our own personal, conversations, being advocates for mental health. Like, I wanted to be clear that I'm not saying get your ass out there, Lane. Like take care of yourself. But I will ask this question, because every once in a while you gotta have to have uncomfortable conversations. Is Lane Johnson missing practice somewhat of an issue for this new look offensive line, because he's going to be playing football differently? I heard somebody on the Fanatic yesterday, and I don't know whether it was a call or one of our hosts, I forget, that said he's a guy that I don't have to worry about. Well, it's a new look style of offense. It's a new way of him, new craft of him playing. Do you think these are valuable reps that Lane Johnson is missing, regardless of the reason why, that he's missing with this new style of offensive line?
It's a fair question, and I think because of the uniqueness of the situation, you can make that argument. But for Lane Johnson, one of the best players at his position on the planet, I don't necessarily share that concern. I think that he can fit into any system. He can really master anything that he's being taught. If it were maybe another player that isn't as experienced, doesn't have the resume that Lane Johnson does, you're probably, offering a different sentiment. But with Lane, I don't, and it's all about him doing whatever it is that he needs to take care of, and the Eagles continuing to try to piece this offense together and take steps in the right direction. But no, I don't necessarily have that concern, even though the offense is new, because of who Lane Johnson is, because of his athletic skill set and the strides that he was making prior to that.
Andrew DeCecco joining us this morning, training camp update. I want you to just talk about how Jalen Hurts is doing. Again, I know I asked you this on Monday. There's a reason why I'm asking, because another list came out, another ranking came out. So let's get the updated, how has Jalen Hurts looked handling the new offense in training camp?
So I thought on Monday the offense had their best practice of the summer. And bear in mind, we're 5 practices in, but it was notable because I thought Jalen was really ripping the ball in there. He was making quick decisions. Devontae Smith had his best practice. No coincidence there. Hollywood Brown had a nice day. Andy Dalton had a really nice day. But with Jalen Hurts, what you want to see, and I think the big takeaway here this summer is you don't want to get too high or too low off of whatever reports you're reading, whether it's my observations or someone else's, because success and progress isn't linear, and you just want to see that this group is heading things in the right direction. They're making notable strides. And with Jalen Hurts, you think that after that Monday practice, they're primed to build off of that. Tuesday, and this requires a lot of context, they didn't have a really good day at all. And in fact, it was probably their low point through the first 5 practices. Now, they didn't have Mekhi Lemon. They didn't have Devontae Smith. They were also without Lane Johnson. There were also far too many penalties, guys, especially in the offensive line. There was a couple touchdowns that were wiped away. Was not a clean performance at all. So Jalen Hurts was without 2 of his top 3 receivers yesterday. But I did think that there was a good chemistry budding there, and there has been with Dontavian Wicks. He was on the receiving end of a few receptions there. And other than that, he was throwing to the likes of Britton Covey. He was throwing to Darius Cooper and some of those players there. So, those aren't players that he often reps with. So it led to a lot of sloppiness, and they tried to push the ball down the field yesterday. They weren't really able to find a lot of success. I didn't think Jalen got a lot of support from his supporting cast. He was also throwing to Quez Watkins. There was a play down the field that he didn't track the ball well. Hollywood Brown dropped one. Will Shipley dropped a wide-open wheel route that he would have walked into the end zone with. So it was just a really lackluster performance for the offense, and they're going to look to rebound today, and we'll see what happens.
All right, last thing, and it's about this ranking. The Athletic put out their ranking. He once again comes in at number 17, and I know that that's going to get people angry, and we're going to talk about it as adults throughout the course of the show today. But I want to ask this question because it's not going to go away, this looming renegotiation of a contract, right? Whether or not the Eagles decide to give him all that guaranteed money next season, pay him $60+ million a year, which is what the going rate is now for quarterbacks. For him to get the money that he wants from the Philadelphia Eagles, Andrew, is it about winning or how they're winning, in your opinion?
Well, if it were about winning, he would have been signed already.
True.
I think a lot of it has to do with how it looks, because this is an offense that, from the top down, they are very committed to seeing all the way through. And I don't know that they want to make a ton of concessions and alterations to it. They really believe that this is a system that has proven successful in the NFL. They're looking to modernize this offense, take things in a different direction, because you can't stay stagnant in the NFL. The offense was clearly stale. In 2024, they had a very simplistic but effective approach in running the football last season. Trying to revert back to that, they ran into some issues. So this you look at the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, those type of offenses, that's what's in vogue in today's NFL, and I believe that the Eagles are fully committed to it, and they want to get more information on how Jalen is going to handle this offense. Now, I happen to think that Hurts will be just fine in doing so, but that being said, it's not going to be an overnight sensation. It's going to take some time to develop and grow, and it's not just Jalen. The offensive line are going to be asked to do things that they haven't done before. The skill players with the details. So this is a crucial point in the ramp up to the regular season, where you got to start to dial in those details and everything like that. But I don't have a ton of questions when it comes to Jalen Hurts, because he's responded to every challenge that's been thrown his way. I just don't know that it's going to be an instantaneous success when it comes to the offense. I think there's going to be some growing pains early, and folks should be bracing for that.
Yeah, you just basically answered one of the questions on our YouTube chat for our man Dawood. He said, asked to check out how quickly does he think a completely new offense should be executed at a high level by a quarterback. And he was trying to figure out what week you would say, but I think you pretty much just answered it. Be patient with the offense. Andrew, we appreciate the time as always, man.
Yeah, I think that first month, by the end of that first month, you'll have a clearer picture as to what the offense looks like, how it's functioning, and how Jalen has really taken to it.
That's perfect. All right. Love you as always, man. Great work. Thanks for calling in, and keep up the great work for Inside the Birds and here at the Fanatic. Thanks, dude.
Take care, guys.
There he is, Andrew DeCecco, my fellow football guy. Just feels good, I'm usually alone here because, John wasn't. You weren't. You're not.
That's kind of uncalled for. That hurts. Words cut deep, Salciunas.
Nice to have a football guy call in. All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. But before that, I want to get our next case. You make the case as to why the Phillies are blank. I gave you the case as to why they're still World Series contenders. And it added to my case with Luis Arraez. but it's the starting pitching. That's all that matters in my opinion. What's yours? Not Kincaid. Mornings with Salciunas here on The Fanatic.
This is 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mornings with Salciunas. Mornings with no music knowledge. Who's this?
I'm going to give you a movie. Now, this song wasn't in the movie, I don't think. If I told you Shrek, what band would you think of?
Smash Mouth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Got that one. I was really confused with how you were going to set up that question, but now it makes sense.
I knew you'd get it.
All right, Smash Mouth. Yeah, see, look at that. I know Smash Mouth. Big Giants fans.
Are they?
Remember. San Francisco Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when they didn't get Harper? Like, the Smash Mouth Twitter account was, like, freaking out.
I do remember that, yes.
Those were days. All right, you make the case that the Phillies are what? We have a latest voice memo? All right, what do we got?
This is Matt checking in.
Foxhole friend Matt. Phillies are absolutely still World Series contenders, and the thing that takes them over the top for me is Arraez, and hopefully that see-ball, hit-ball approach that does implement itself. And then once we get to the playoffs, and I said once we get, not if we get, because we are making it, once we get to the playoffs, maybe that approach does leak into the top players, those 1, 2, 3 guys. But honestly, it's more the bottom of the order that I'm excited for, just to see where the development goes.
The worst thing that a lot of fans did was ignore that the other 6 guys in the lineup sucked. Don't blame them. Blame Harper, Turner, Schwarber. Yeah, I get it. They should deserve the majority of the blame for the shortcomings of the playoffs until you look at their individual series. Some of them have actually been pretty good. It's the rest of the lineup that's been putrid. Like, you started a playoff game with Yohan Rojas. Your last at-bat was Jake Cave in 2023. Like, you had some pretty bad players playing in playoff games. Max Kepler was playing in playoff games. Guys that were almost automatic outs in a lot of these spots. Luis Arraez is not. And it extends the lineup a little bit. Justin Crawford, remember the big worry for people? The baseball guys? Oh, all he does is hit singles. Oh, man. He hits the ball? He doesn't strike out? He puts the ball in play where anything can happen still, even at the major league level? Look, I love home runs. Chick thinks a long ball, right? Like, I get it. I'd rather have guys drive it into the gap. I get angry that Alec Bohm is 6'5" and can't hit for power. Like, there's things that I want too. But there's baseball people that don't like Luis Arraez because he just hits singles. And that's why he's never going to get the big payday. But that guy in this order, it might not be a difference maker in Miami, but it's a difference maker in Philadelphia where you have big bats that come up small at times. Or maybe there's nobody on base, and so pitchers can pitch them differently. Or there's no protection. Luis Arraez is actually a perfect fit for this lineup, regardless of where he's batting. Poll of the day brought to us by Doc Driving Down a Pell and the team at Iron Mountain Men's Health. Poll strong for 4 hours every single morning. What's the poll this morning, Connor?
Yeah, so we have a check-in here on the lineup and how the Phillies set things up with Luis Arraez last night and what Phillies fans want to see going forward. Do you want to see the Phillies stick with the top of the lineup order, Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Arraez, that they used last night? 54% saying yes, 46% saying no. So conflicted today.
If they didn't score 5 runs and if they lost yesterday, majority would say no. But they won yesterday, so people are feeling good. They'd say yes. I'm fine with it. Don't get me wrong. As old school as I am, I'm fine with it. I just like Schwarber batting with people on base, and sometimes that doesn't happen. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, remember, this is a time segment, and we've got Shefty coming up because you could probably talk about this for the next 3 hours. Okay. Matt Strahm DFA'd by the Royals yesterday. Going to have plenty of time to open up some packs of baseball cards. I know how you feel about Matt Strahm, but I want to give you a little bit of time to talk about it.
Yeah, big win for the people that never liked his 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Look, he's a good dude. I've had the chance to talk to him, and I really liked him when they first got him because I thought they were going to use him as like that spot starter, long reliever, and he was until they overused him. Remember that first year? Like, he was gassed.
Yeah.
Because they overused him early on.
Well, they used him as a starter for a little bit, too.
Yeah, well, they had to out of necessity. He's not the left-handed specialist shutdown guy out of the bullpen, and they relied on that far too much. And I knew when he came into the game and Teoscar Hernandez was up to bat that we were in trouble.
He did always own Ohtani, but another thing.
He did always own Ohtani. That's right.
Chalk up another win for Dave Dombrowski. John Bolin?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's a good move. I was happy that they just got rid of Strahm But yes, chalk one up to Dave Dombrowski because my man Big John, all that guy does is deal. He's an everyday guy too. Like, just give me the ball, I'm gonna hum.
Yeah, he's the tank. All right, we'll move on to the weird training camp story of the day. You were lamenting how quiet it's been down in Dallas. Now, this isn't really drama, but it was something strange down there. Did you see how CeeDee Lamb was practicing yesterday?
Yeah, I didn't get any information. I just saw it because now it's a meme.
I don't know what the information is, but he was catching balls off the jugs machine with like a beekeeper net over his helmet. I have no idea how he was seeing. I don't know what he's training for, but maybe it works for him.
Well, he's already pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something to do with the sun.
Could have been.
Or maybe it was something to do with, I'm going to make sure my eyesight isn't perfect and I'm still going to try to catch this football. There's weird training tactics. Like how I say baseball overthinks things with how they play. There's a lot of overthinking of training. I mean, you did it. You did baseball exercises that you're like, what the hell is this doing for me?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. But, hey, man, he's a really good wide receiver, so it might work for him.
It's going to be an elite-level visual the first time he drops a pass this year, and the memes come out left and right. Speaking of memes coming out left and right, we've got a guy who's going to be a meme machine in the National League East now. Are you familiar with Jeffrey Yan?
Yes.
If you are not out there listening, he is a pitcher who just got called up by the Mets.
Yep.
And this dude, when he strikes people out,
electric,
jumps and does like a jumping split on the mound.
People are going to hate him.
Oh, I know. He's going to be an ultimate, like, hate-the-face Met guy if he's up there for a long time.
No, he would have been hated by people regardless of the team that he plays for because he shows energy and loves the sport of baseball, and people don't like that. There are a lot of people that go, hey, act like you've been there before. I love it. I think it's great. He became a phenom in the World Baseball Classic because every time he strikes somebody out, he does that. And he doesn't have electric stuff.
No.
Like, that's the funny thing. He doesn't throw 100. He's kind of a soft-throwing right-handed reliever. But his actions, you would think he's like some electric Jose Alvarado type.
It almost makes it even better. Now,
it does. You're right.
You're the anti, like, Tyler Phillips, slap himself thing.
No,
You're
I
the
love this. Tyler Phillips. No, those things are stupid. Those things are, I'm going to psych myself up going into the game. Nah, this guy's just celebrating that he does his job. I appreciate that.
So the jumping split's okay.
Yes, because you can't slap yourself in the face and then give up 8 runs. You can't crush a Red Bull can on your arm and then give up 3 runs out of the bullpen. You can do something after you strike somebody out. I'm pro bat flip. I am pro celebration. I am pro energy and life and anything that you can make of that when it comes to the sport of baseball. I don't need strike him out, walk around the mound, and just wait till the ball comes back. Go ahead, man. Live your life, brother. Go for it.
Yeah, you try explaining that to batters at the major league level when they get K'd up and they see this dude doing a gymnastics routine.
Yeah, but this guy's not going up to bat, so he can't get plunked.
That's a fair
All right,
point.
good job, Connor. Coming up next, you mentioned it, Adam Schefter. It's an Adam Schefter Wednesday as we continue to get closer to the start of the regular season. The countdown is really on. Training camp, we have the Hall of Fame game tomorrow. Before you know it, joint practices will happen, especially with the Eagles and the New England Patriots. A.J. Brown is still in heaven. And maybe we'll get to the bottom of some of these injuries with Adam Schefter. He joins us next here on Mornings with Salciunas.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another win over Washington. I'm Connor Thomas. And Luis Arraez had a strong debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at the bank. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs coming in his first 2 at-bats of his Phil's tenure. Jesus Luzardo, a dominant night on the mound, throwing 8 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts. And Caleb Killian, who was acquired in that Arraez trade, threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phillies appearance. Don Mattingly talked after the game about Arraez's approach at the plate.
You know, the one thing with Luis, you see that he's not afraid to take a pitch, not afraid to hit with a strike. You can tell the confidence he has. So it's just a guy that knows what he's doing up there.
The Phillies know what they're doing lately. They've now won 4 straight. They'll try to make it 5 tonight at 6:40 p.m. against the Nats again. Andrew Painter versus Jake Irvin, the pitching matchup. The Eagles had a bit of an uncomfortable day in training camp yesterday. Both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missed practice with hamstring injuries. Neither's believed to be serious or long-term. But it just reminds you, hey, this time of year, health is paramount for these teams. Vic Fangio will meet with the media today at 9:40. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of Leagues Cup group play. We'll talk to Adam Schefter coming up next for the national perspective on training camp. Jim Salisbury joins us at 9:05 to talk about the Phil's lineup changes. This update is brought to you by Verizon Business. Verizon Business experts love small businesses, so they come directly to you on your schedule with real expertise tailored to your needs. Make an appointment with a Verizon Business expert. Go to Verizon.com/book today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 8 a.m. here on Mornings with Salciunas. No idea.
You'll probably know him better as the guy who sings "This Is How We Do It."
I know
Montel Jordan.
Montel Jordan, I'm a big fan. Yeah, of course. This is how we do it. I know that's what. Now that's what I call 4. CD is our bump back music today, which is amazing. Coming up in a few minutes, Adam Schefter will be joining us for his weekly hit at 8:05. I was just texting with Ant during the commercial break. His thoughts on the Mets pitcher. He goes, "You can't do that if you can't break glass with your fastball." I get it. You can't. Like, I understand what he's saying. And speaking of Ant, I texted him that he will absolutely despise the segment around 8:45. So earlier today, 7 o'clock hour, I told you?
Yeah.
At 8:45, I will have such a me segment in honor of Luis Arraez. Like, it is probably my best work for me, even though a lot of people will hate it. Or maybe a lot of people like it. I don't know. But it was a total gut feeling, just off the top of my head segment, and I did look up information to try to back it up. I'll explain more coming up at 8:45. It's in honor of Luis Arraez, going 2 for 4 yesterday, making an immediate impact yesterday, going up against all the baseball analytics, all the launch angles, all the home runs. There's a runner on base. He hit the ball in the outfield, and the run scored. That's a run. I don't care how you do it. You scored a run. That's exactly what this baseball team needs. They have 3 absolute beasts on the mound. and they will be beasts on the mound in the playoffs. And I know that Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, and Jesus Luzardo will keep me in the ballgame, whether it's the Cleveland Guardians or the Los Angeles Dodgers. Through 6 innings, I know I have that on lock. Will they score a run within the first 6 innings is what I need to know about. Will they be able to win the final 3 innings of a ball game? I know I got Duran in the 9th. I need the bullpen in the 7th and 8th inning to do their job, and I need the lineup to score a few runs. And Luis Arraez at least puts the ball in play, which is something that this team struggles with in big moments. Adam Schefter will join us in a minute. What do we have on the Davis on a text line, Connor? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. We're not only celebrating the debut of Arraez, but we're trying to figure out the question. You make the case as to why the Phillies are blank, and you tell us what it is, and then make the case. My goal today is to remind you that this team can still be a World Series contender, as much as I hate them. It'll probably shock you if you're just tuning in. Oh, this guy thinks they're a World Series contender? He's the guy that's always crapping on this team. Yeah, I hate them. I think they're constructed poorly. But the one thing that I really do agree with Dave Dombrowski in doing is loading up on pitching and having those 3 guys go. And, man, if the bats just come through a couple times a game, that should be enough. It was almost enough in the Dodgers series. So a couple of bad errors happened and Matt Strom happened. What do we got on the text line?
Will from Tampa via Philadelphia checks in, says seeing Arraez in his approach at the plate is refreshing. Someone who sees the ball well and is patient. Pitcher walks Harper. Arraez comes up and takes the first pitch and works the count and then hits an RBI double. And then comes Bohm first pitch swinging like he usually does, and that's when I become frustrated again.
It was so funny.
Arraez gives us a shot, but guys like Bohm have to learn from a hitter like him.
It was so funny. So funny. I told you yesterday, it doesn't matter whether you move Bohm out of the 4-hole to the 5-hole. He's still Alec Bohm. It's still the middle of the order. It's still a right-handed bat that doesn't hit for power, even though he tries to because he's 6'5" and he just can't do it. And he's still swinging first pitch. He still has a bad approach at the plate. Hopefully he, takes his time a little bit. But that was a nice debut for Luis Arraez yesterday. Now joining us, as he does every single Wednesday, here on Now Mornings with Salciunas. But he's going to have to get used to Johnny Marks, too, because starting August 17th, Middays with Marks now becomes Mornings with Marks and Salciunas. Johnny Marks and I will be in tandem starting August 17th. So that Wednesday, August 19th, will be the first time that Shefty joins that show. Good morning, Shefty. What's up?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Training camp going on. The Eagles have a lot of guys dealing with hamstrings and all kinds of injuries, but there is one storyline that we're trying to keep an eye on. Have you heard anything about the absence of Lane Johnson? He has missed 3 straight practices for non-injury related. We, of course, know his history with mental health. Just curious if you've heard anything on Lane Johnson.
I have not. I didn't even know that he missed 3 straight practices. Honestly, there's been so much going on in the league that has flown under the radar, but I appreciate you putting it on my radar. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's something serious, and hopefully he'll be back soon.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Speaking of so much going on in the NFL, there's contracts everywhere. And it seems like every deal at this point is highest paid player in the history of this sport. Is this just something that's going to continuously happen? Like, are agents just going to keep on playing the waiting game so that their client could be the newest high paid player at every position?
Well, I don't know that Jahmyr Gibbs and Jonathan Taylor were waiting to be the highest paid at their position. I think there was a sense that Bijan would set the market and that they would try to come close to or match it. Maybe they'll beat it by a slight amount, but I don't think that's why they were waiting. I think they were waiting because they thought that offer that Bijan was going to get was more than they were going to get. That's what I thought. My interpretation. Now, we'll see where the numbers come in. I think both deals get done. I think both deals get done in relatively short order, as early as this week. And we'll see where the numbers come in. Like, it's not going to be significantly more, if it's more at all, than what Bijan got yesterday. But that was the one that had to set the market, and it did.
Yeah, and then we also have, a right tackle getting top right tackle money. The one that I'm surprised by, not that he's the highest paid wide receiver, but a $140 million extension for Zay Flowers. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like him. That's a lot of money for Zay Flowers.
Well, it is, but you also could say at this point in time that he commands a huge target share. The prices on wide receivers are going up. Baltimore obviously knows him better than anybody, and they're banking on him having a big season. And before they go into the season and he catches 110 passes for 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns or whatever it is, they're getting out in front of it and signing him now. So, yes, it seems like a high deal, but I trust them to make their decisions. They know what they're going to get out of their guy this year.
Adam Schefter joining us here on Mornings with Salciunas. I saw your tweet this morning a little over a half hour ago about Max Crosby and how he's all in and wants to be a Raider for life. I feel like I've heard that 5 different times, and yet he's been potentially traded 5 different times. He was actually traded at one time until it didn't go through. What is the likelihood that Max Crosby is a Raider for life? And obviously he's a name that will always pop up here in Philadelphia.
I think there's a question. I would just say that, right? Like, I know that people brought up the Dallas Cowboys this summer, kept checking in. I just, look, I could be surprised, but I don't think he's going to get traded this summer by the Raiders. Like, I think they're going to go into the season and see what they got. Now, if some team blows them away with another big offer, anything's on the table. But I don't think that that's going to happen. Where I think this gets interesting would be if their season isn't going the way you want. They're 1-5, they're 2-6. There's some type of record like that, and all of a sudden the trade deadline's coming up, and there's a team out there that's doing well and knows it could use another pass rusher and is willing to trade a first-round pick plus to go get a guy like Max Crosby that team believes could make a difference down the stretch. Could I see a scenario like that? Yeah, I could see a scenario like that more than I could see a scenario where Max Crosby gets traded this season. But we'll see how it works out. That's how I read the situation. He'd like to stay there. He was the one that wanted to trade last offseason when he got traded to Baltimore, but he's now settled in and is comfortable there.
Adam, there's no such thing as a drama-free training camp. Like, that doesn't exist. The NFL is filled with drama. But a storyline that I'm going to be following closely throughout training camp for the Eagles is sort of the lack of drama, sort of the let's all head toward the one direction, which is trying to win a Super Bowl. And it seems like they're leaning into that. Have you heard anything about life after A.J. Brown for the Philadelphia Eagles from a vibe standpoint or from a collective goal standpoint that we're just going to try to do whatever it takes to win regardless of how it happens?
Well, I do think it's been a quiet camp for them. And to be perfectly frank, not to jinx it for them or any other team, that's what you're looking for. You just want a quiet camp.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's the surest sign of a successful training camp. When there's no negative headlines, when there's no injuries. Now, you brought up the Lane Johnson thing, but we don't know what that is. Who knows? Hopefully, like I said, he's back soon. It's nothing of any note. But the more you could just get through camp without anything that's happened in the NFC South, Jalen Walker and Nick Scouton and Brian Brzee in New Orleans, like teams losing players, like you just go have a nice, uneventful, quiet camp. That's the best thing that could happen for any team in the summer.
It sounds like it should be so simple. Just have a nice, quiet camp, and you know that that's not going to happen. It's not just injuries. It's all kinds of other stuff. There's beefs, there's drama, there's fights. But I just look at the Eagles right now, Adam, as a quiet camp, and hey, we're just here to win. It almost feels like there was a release or a relief when A.J. Brown exited the building. Because we always hear about how much they like him. He was a team captain. We know how successful he was as a wide receiver and how successful this franchise was with him on the team. But it almost just feels like there's like the elephant's out of the room. Does it not?
For now. But again, we're 10 days, 2 weeks at the training camp, whatever it is. Let's see how it evolves over time. So, the elephant's out of the room, but there may be a different elephant that moves in and takes up residence in September. You just don't know.
And by the way, the one elephant that at least we're talking about on Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio is the future of Jalen Hurts and his contract renegotiation because it's going to happen after this season. What have you been hearing on that front? Because there was another ranking list that came out. He comes in at number 17 again. I know that should not be the reason why he does or does not get a contract. But you and I talk about Jalen Hurts' attributes all the time, the things that we really like. But there's also things that aren't totally looked at fondly, like arm strength and the way he plays quarterback. How important do you think it will be for the Eagles for them to not only win, but for how they win this season and how he looks as the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles before they make that huge financial change?
Well, I just think that every year is a big year for every quarterback in this league. We know it's a year-to-year league, and when quarterbacks perform well, when any player performs well, they expect sometimes to sit down and address their contract, rework it, revise it, tweak it. And so, yeah, and look, what was Jalen's contract last on? It was at the draft in, I believe, Kansas City. It was that off season, so it was at 23. I'm guessing. I don't remember the
Sounds
exact
about
year.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. They all went. So look, we're about at that time, and so there's a lot on the line for him. But there was always going to be a lot on the line for him. That's nothing new, and you hear an awful lot of quarterback contract talk from a lot of different places about a lot of different players, but you don't hear about him at all. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot on the line, but I think he knows that. They know that. Nothing surprising there.
Are you locked into tomorrow's Hall of Fame game? It's going to be a big game tomorrow, Adam.
Well, I always say, and I said this on my podcast this week, it's great because everyone's like, oh, my God, football's back. This is great, great, great. Put on the game, and then you're like 2 series in. How long do we get to the regular season?
Yeah.
That's how people are. But look, it's football. Like if you think you're going to sit down and get great football drama, that's not it. It's just kind of back of the end roster guys fighting for roster spots, going out there, just seeing it. It's never an overly exciting or interesting game, but it's fun just to know that we're getting closer to having regular weekly football back again.
All right, last thing, Shefty. What is the training camp story? It doesn't have to be with the Philadelphia Eagles. What's the training camp storyline right now that's intriguing you the most?
To be honest with you, my answer to that would be whatever happens that day, every day, because every day is new and different. It's amazing how often this league just brings you interesting storylines and drama, like Monday out of nowhere, right? All of a sudden we've got Kobe Bryant, the Bears safety, who they spent a lot of money on, going down for 8 to 10 weeks. Mike Evans being held out. Ricky Pearsall out for the year. All the Aaron Donald conversation. Then yesterday, Bijan gets done. Zay Flowers gets done. Darnell Wright in Chicago gets done. Micah Parsons talks about coming back mid-season. Jalen Walker in Atlanta goes down. Like, there's something every day, and there'll be more today. So when you say what storyline gets me interested, whatever's the next storyline, because there's going to be something else today.
Or the next show that Aaron Rodgers goes on. That's always a storyline within itself. Shefty, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on. As always, we'll talk to you next week. And again, the new show, Mornings with Marks and Salciunas, August 17th. So me and Johnny Marks will be talking to you on August 19th.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a great day.
You're the man. There he is, Adam Schefter, joining the show. Yeah, that Rodgers interview is wild.
Yeah, certainly something from him.
That Rodgers interview is wild. And I'll just leave it at that because I don't have to get into it. It's just wild. It's a wild interview.
I love Jalen Hurts. Just football.
Yeah, but doing Sports Talk Radio in Pittsburgh would have been fun this week.
Oh, yeah. But
for all the wrong reasons, because you wouldn't just be talking ball. Which, hey, drama sells.
I like talking ball. Maybe that's more my speed.
Yeah, but people like drama. People like drama. People love drama. That's why basketball gets the hashtag this league. You know what I mean? Like, people love drama. There's so much to it. Look at the WNBA. They're just leaning into it at this point. Leagues love drama. It's not just about the sports half the time, man. It's about everything else. All right, what do we got on the Davis Honda text line? You can feel the Davis difference. You can check them out in Burlington. Do we have any more voice memos on the Davis Honda text line?
We do. John C. checks in on the Phils.
This is John C. in Tennessee. The Phillies are potential, but it remains to be seen if it is going to be fulfilled potential or wasted potential. We all know they have the arms. I absolutely would put our big three against anybody else's big three, including the Dodgers. But the city were jaded because the past 4 years, it's a surprise when they made it to the series 4 years ago. And ever since, it's just been, let's get to the postseason, and the bats get turned off. They get ice cold. And that is so frustrating, especially with the pitching that we had and that we have currently.
You're right. You're right. That's why the show today is make the case as to why blank. And I'm making the case as to why the Phillies should still be considered World Series contenders. The show is not, I'm guaranteeing this, right? I'm not guaranteeing that the Phillies win the World Series. That would be stupid because they could lose in the first round just as easy. But there are people, and I understand why. You heard it in the voice memo's voice there. Like in his voice, he sounded beaten down. Year after year after year, you get excited for the postseason. We could beat the Dodgers. The Mets? Look at this Diamondbacks team. There's a guy named Brandon Fart pitching for them. Can win this one, and they lose. And a lot of it's because of the same reason. It's somebody in the bullpen falls apart and gives up a lead, and the bats get so tight that they can't come back from it. Like the Phillies are front runners. I've said that before. I'll say it again. They're front runners. When things are riding high, they're great. But, man, any bit of adversity that this team faces in front of them, and they clam up so quick. They get so tight. It's been admitted by the starting third baseman who's still batting fifth in this order that he gets tight. That's not good. But I know that if they take an early lead, which they could because of the guys in this lineup, and I have Zach Wheeler or Christopher Sanchez or Jesus Luzardo pitching, that early lead will most likely stay there through 6 innings or through however many more innings it is until they're out of the ballgame. And then we'll see what happens. I like what they did at the deadline with the bullpen. I like the addition of Killian. I like the addition of Rowley. I already love Joan Duran. Already love that. I like what Jonathan Boland's doing this year. Somebody's going to be sent to the bullpen. You'll have more arms. This Phillies team should not be totally out on or totally slept on. As much as I hate them, they are absolutely World Series contenders. And there are a lot of people that have already written them off. And you shouldn't. As painful as it is, you shouldn't write them off.
In a vacuum, you're correct.
Hell yeah, man.
There is still that blue team out on the West Coast that has something to say.
Yeah, no, they are. But, again, whether it's the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Braves, the Padres, the Pirates, the Reds, I don't know, teams, Cubs, Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo pitch well against anybody. They don't. You look at the Phillies' record against winning teams. That's not Zach Wheeler's record. That's not Christopher Sanchez stats. Jesus Luzardo's stats. They don't pitch 7 shutout innings against the Marlins, but give up 10 earned runs against the other teams. They're consistently good. It's what everybody else does. And the addition of Luis Arraez allows you to not have complete zeros in a lineup because that's what usually happens come playoff time. All right, coming up next, we'll get more of your reaction. You make the case as to whatever it is. You make the case as to why the Phillies are blank. But also, ESPN.com has a post-trade deadline article where there are a bunch of questions where they are answering, is it real or not? And the Phillies are mentioned in one of these questions. The Phillies cemented themselves as true World Series contenders, real or not? I'll tell you what they answered coming up next. It is Mornings with Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A dream Phillies debut. I'm Connor Thomas, and Luis Arraez had a dream debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at the bank. Hits in both of his first 2 at-bats. He ended the night 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and it was a great way to start his Phillies tenure. Jesus Luzardo also dominant on the mound, throwing 8 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. Caleb Killian threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phillies appearance. Now, I know I called it a dream. Apparently, Arraez wasn't sleeping too well till he got here.
In the few days, I couldn't sleep. Yeah. I couldn't sleep thinking it, and then I say, where am I going to go? And then, but thanks God, I'm going to sleep tonight.
That audio via NBC Sports Philadelphia. They've now won 4 straight. They'll try and make it 5 tonight as they take on the Nationals again. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Andrew Painter on the mound against Jake Irvin. Eagles had a bit of a rough day in training camp yesterday. Both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missed practice with hamstring injuries. Neither is believed to be serious or long-term, but something to keep an eye on the health of the team. It's a big time of the year for that. Vic Fangio will meet with the media to talk some defense today at 9:40 a.m. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of Leagues Cup group play. And Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia will join us coming up at 9:05 to talk about the Phillies' new lineup. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
up, baby?
Yeah.
It's 8:29. I mean, I feel like so many artists can do exactly what's being done right now.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I don't even know really.
Because like I could literally go like Usher, and I know that's probably not Usher.
It's not Usher. I told you if you get this one, I'm quitting and moving to Alaska.
Teddy Pendergast. I don't know.
This is Joe.
His name's Joe?
Joe. Now, Matt Puma, who does our traffic, was in here as I was setting this one up. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know Joe.
Really?
So he is known out there.
All right.
I also didn't know Puma had that in his bag.
Of course. Well, look, you guys don't know Puma like I know Puma. A lot of people don't know Puma the way I know Puma. Puma's got game, man. All right, so now that's what I call 4 is the bump back music today, and that was Joe. What was the name of the song?
It was I Want to Know.
I Want to Know by Joe. I love it.
Yep, real simple.
All right, coming up around 8:45. You do not want to miss. I'm not even telling you what it is. It's just a segment in honor of Luis Arraez, and it's so me. There's no audio to it. There's really nothing special. I just did way too much work for it. So I need you to listen to it because I don't want to say that you know what? Nobody could listen to it except for you, Connor. That's usually how it goes anyway. And it still wouldn't have been a waste of time because it was such a me segment. And that comes your way around 8:45. I can't wait for it. But I do want to get some more reaction. You make the case as to why the Phillies are blank. Whatever it is, winning the World Series, getting to the World Series contenders, not making the playoffs, losing in round 1, losing to the Dodgers, period, regardless of round. You make the case as to whatever it is that you want to make the case for. Because my case today, as I was saying it yesterday, even before Luis Arraez showed you why singles still matter, hashtag bring back hitting singles, this Phillies team is still, despite how much we hate them, World Series contenders. I saw a tweet from somebody named, I believe it was Erin. I hit refresh and it's gone because that's how Twitter works. She said something to the extent of, the Phillies organization really doesn't know how much we hate Alec Boehm. You could hear a pin drop in here after the double play. He's a guy that, like, you're just done with him. But he's going to be here until the end of the season, and you just hope that he comes through a couple of times. That's what you hope. And look, he had an RBI yesterday. Sack fly. He had an RBI yesterday. He finally lifted the baseball. There are things about this baseball team that I still hate. But even before they acquired Luis Arraez, I looked at those 3 starting pitchers, and I couldn't just give up. It's why I didn't say sell. It's why I didn't want them to not do anything. It's why I didn't want them to just make a marginal move. It's why I was still in so deep with this baseball team that I wanted them to be aggressive at the trade deadline, because those 3 guys, you could basically record a show from last year and play it again, because that was my take last year at the deadline. You can't waste those 3 guys. You can't waste those 3 guys this year either. 610-632-0975. Before we get back to the phones and the text line, the voice memos, ESPN.com did a post-trade deadline write-up where they asked a bunch of real or not questions. And the Phillies, it was Phillies and Cubs, but I'll just read the Phillies part. Did the Phillies cement themselves as true World Series contenders? Or, sorry, the Phillies cemented themselves as true World Series contenders, real or not? Jesse Rogers, who covers Major League Baseball for ESPN, says real. When you have healthy pitching, you have a chance. The top of the Phillies rotation gives them that chance in October. Yeah, they move some players around on the diamond, but it's a veteran team that can roll with the punches. Luis Arraez is like the anti-typical Phillies player. He doesn't slug, which means he brings a different element to their offense, a much-needed one. And that's the case that I made for getting Luis Arraez. They need somebody that can just hit the baseball and not rely on the long ball. Now, Bradford Doolittle says not real. I'd word it more as both teams kept themselves in the mix, though both teams are better today than they were yesterday. The decision by the Phillies to upgrade the outfield by shifting Bryce Harper back there is intriguing, but it also may be too clever by a half. We just haven't seen him out on the grass for a long time. Arraezing's numbers at second base this season have been good, so I'm not sure I get it. At the same time, I am excited about Arraezing on the top of the lineup, and Philly did well to bolster its bullpen. I will say this to you, Mr. Doolittle. Bryce Harper's a ball player, and you saw right away the baseball gods came through. First at-bat of the game, into the sun, fly ball to the right field corner where Bryce Harper hasn't played for in years, and he made the play with ease. And then there was the base hit down the line. He picked it up and fired it to Luis Arraez. He's a ball player. There are some guys that can't handle moving positions. There are some guys that can. Some guys are elite. Some guys aren't. Bryce Harper, elite. Let's go to Cole in Australia. What up, Cole? What's going on, man?
Hang on.
What's going on, mate?
I feel like I had to start.
I know. I remember. You were great. When you called in last time, we thought we were setting you up like you were some Aussie, and then you weren't. But then you could go right into the accent really well. So that's how I know you've been there for some time.
It's tough, man. I walk down the street. I'm like, I'm worried I'm going to get like hit in the face because I'm a bit of a parrot sometimes, and you hear it, and you just start, rolling into it.
Is that like if you just go into it naturally? Are they offended?
Oh no, Aussies will let you take the piss out of them for anything. So I hope I can say that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Tried to lower that down a bit, censor that a little bit. Yeah. So no, they'll let you make jokes about them for just about anything. I think you'd have to say something really messed up for anyone to actually get mad.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, well that's cool. So what
They'll
was it
make
like?
fun of you 10 times before you make fun of them.
True. What's the time out there right now?
It is 10:36 at night.
All right. So what time's like the Phillies game for you?
Oh, it's hard. So what, like a 7 p.m. game would be like 9 a.m.
That's kind of sick. I'll be honest. Like you're getting ready for your day. You're working, streaming the Phillies game. That sounds pretty fun.
It's not bad, dude. It's not bad. Like especially like on a Eagles games aren't. Sometimes Eagles games can really suck, but it's great that the Eagles have been so good because we get more primetime games.
Yeah.
Which, like, I know for the Eagles aren't the best, but for us down here it works because it's like Monday morning. If it's a primetime game, it'll be like Monday morning at like somewhere between 9 and 11. So just like you're kind of starting your work day off. And you just have the Eagles playing in the background. No one really gives a crap.
Yeah, wait, so how's that like? Do you take off for a Monday night game? Like I know you want to talk Luis Arraez, and I can't wait. But I love people, dude, and cool. I'm interested.
No, dude, that's cool. I'm calling back. I really enjoyed the call. I'm not gonna lie. I maybe listened to the other network in Philly, and you guys are a lot more. You're a lot more positive, and you're a lot more fun. So I appreciate chatting. No, yeah, it's you don't take off. It's I think. So many. I work in like academics, but I also work with a lot of people in the U.S.
Okay.
So Mondays are pretty slow here anyway. A lot of people work with people in the U.S. and so Mondays are always slow because like we're the first people in the world to wake up for business.
Sure.
So it's like if you're waiting on people on the other side of the world to send you emails or something, like no one's dealing with anything because it's still Sunday for most people. So it's not too bad for Eagles games, on a normal Sunday. Because you can generally watch stuff. The toughest thing is like 1 p.m. games ending up being like, it could be like 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning, depending on the time of year.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
That's wild.
With the like daylight savings. So yeah, just adjust into all of that. But no, for like primetime games, it's like.
That's all.
Australia's a chill place.
It's right in your morning. That's awesome. So well, good night. Go to sleep. Have a nice night, and then when you wake up, we'll watch Luis Arraez slap 2 more singles. All right.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and turn around Philly season, something worth paying attention to now.
I love that. You're the man,
and
Cole.
like,
I appreciate it, brother. I mean, that's awesome. Like. When people talk about the West Coast, like, oh man, it's got to be hard. 1 o'clock games are always at 10 a.m. Bro, I love it when there's London games. I love the 9 a.m. start.
I agree.
I loved it as a bachelor, like waking up hungover and kegs and eggs right away for Sunday football. I love it as a dad because we're awake at 7 o'clock in the morning every single day, regardless of the time of the year, and 7 is sleeping in. Like, I can get Coop to watch a football game with me. At this age, he's now 4, so he's getting into it. Like, I love that. And so when people talk about, man, it would suck to live on. What? I would love that. 10 a.m. I get to start my Sunday at 10 a.m. with football every single day. Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's sick. I do enjoy that when I get a chance to be out west.
By the way, I hate Sunday night football.
All right, now let's not get crazy.
I hate it. I got to go to bed, man.
That's just you now.
Well, no, not just that. No, even in school. Because I would get the agita when the 60 minutes thing would start ticking.
Well, you do anyway, even if you don't have to be up that early. That's always scary.
But if you're West Coast, man, it's 5 o'clock. Game start 8 o'clock. The game is over. I can go to a bar. I could do a late night dinner after my team wins. It sounds pretty nice. Do you think they'd let me do the show out there?
No, I do not think so. Unfortunately.
August 17th. Mornings with Marks and Salciunas, but I'll be in L.A. That kind of sucks at the 3 a.m. That would.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound that nice.
Up at 2?
Yeah, it doesn't sound that good.
All right, I want to see you do it now.
I don't want to. All right, what else we got on the Davis Honda text line or voice memo line, whatever we got?
Yeah, so we have people on the text line checking out on the Phillies conversation, and this texter says, seems like a new guy like Arraez might be what was necessary to convince the Phillies they can win playing small ball, and that might be their personality at this point.
Well, it's amazing, right? You look at this lineup now. I'll just pull up yesterday's starting lineup. So you have Kyle Schwarber. We know what Schwarber does when he's hot, right? The guy goes yard. Trey Turner, who the pop is actually like going away. He's trying to just be an batting average hitter, which, again, happy with that. You have Bryce Harper, who can do everything. You have Luis Arraez, who's just going to try to hit the ball. You have Alec Boehm. I hate it, but he's just going to try to hit the ball. You have Bryson Stott, who's just going to try to hit the ball. You have Justin Crawford, who's just going to try to hit the ball. You have 4 guys in your order that are just going to try to put the ball in play. I will take that. Who's the team that beat you in 2023?
That would be the Arizona Diamondbacks.
What did that team just do?
Pitch outside the zone so you couldn't hit it.
Yeah,
no, but then
they put the ball in play. It's not always going to work. But if your other guys come through, it's so much easier batting with somebody on base because the pitcher's throwing from the stretch and they're making sure, is this guy going to break for second base? Imagine Justin Crawford at first base with Kyle Schwarber up to bat. They got to worry about that. They could make a mistake. Kyle Schwarber could put a 2-run bomb. It's simple to me. Baseball has gotten overcomplicated. It is the hardest sport already. Round ball, round bat, 100-mile-per-hour fastball, 95-mile-per-hour splunker or whatever these pitches are now that Joan Duran throws. It's already a hard enough sport. Why are you trying to overcomplicate it? See ball, hit ball. I'm such an old man for a 32-year-old. I know it. But, man, if Luis Arraez is driving in RBIs, whether it's a single or a solo shot, it's still a run. That's all I care about, man.
You're starting to believe, aren't you?
I've never stopped believing that they were World Series contenders. I am not about to start believing that it's a lock that they get there. It's not even close. But, man, do I feel much better this morning. All right, coming up next, speaking of Luis Arraez, I have a segment that is so me. You have no idea. I didn't even tell Connor about it. But I have it all filled out with statistics with it. You'll either love it or hate it. It's Mornings with Salciunas here on The Fanatic.
This is 97.5 The Fanatic, your home for the best LeBron James coverage.
8:47 here on Mornings with Salciunas. Do I know the chorus of this song? Is that the song? I know the song. I don't know who this is, though.
Yeah, this is by Savage Garden. So they're
Not Soundgarden.
No, Savage Garden. And do you know this chorus? Yeah.
No, I don't know the words. I just know the song. Yeah.
They sing that. Did you ever see the video of all the bald British dudes singing in the pub?
Yes.
They sing that song, Truly, Madly, Deeply. That's probably their biggest.
And the guy, that was an all-time COVID video. If you remember, there was a guy, that exact video that you're talking about, I want to stand where you are in the mountain.
Yeah,
that song. One. There was a guy that recreated it by himself, and it was the first time singing in a pub when the world opens back up. That was an all-time, if you're an online person, and if you were online during COVID, that was an all-time, like, COVID video.
Was there anyone offline during COVID?
Probably.
Honestly, nothing else to do.
Honestly, it would have been better to have been offline during COVID.
I got bored.
Would have been better. Love Hurts chimes in at Gold Standard. Being in Hawaii a few years ago was awesome. We just talked to our man from Australia who watches the Phillies games at 9 a.m., which I thought that sounded awesome. Gold Standard chimes in. Being in Hawaii, I watched Penn State, Michigan, a Phillies playoff game, Bama versus Tennessee on a Saturday, and still got to go to the beach for 6 hours. Like, that sounds nice. I'll be honest. That sounds like I'd rather watch sports in the morning and have the rest of my day. It's like that with golf. I'd rather tee off at 6 o'clock in the morning and have the rest of my day.
Oh, screw 6 a.m. tee times. No.
I'm going to get things done early, and then you have the rest of your day to do whatever the hell you want. That sounds really nice. All right. In honor of Luis Arraez, I did something this morning that, you know me, Connor, I did not have to research this. It was total feel. I just jotted the names down. And then I said, all right, let me just, for context, do a little bit of research for these individuals. So yesterday, if you were listening at this exact time, so 24 hours ago, we did the all-time Phillies cult hero platoon player lineup in honor of Derek Hill, who hit the grand slam in Game 1 of this series against the Nationals when they were down 3-0. He makes it 4-3. I put out the tweet that Derek Hill solidified himself, cemented himself in that all-time starting nine of the cult hero. Had great moments. You're not going to play him every day. You don't want him to play every day. Some people want him to play every day, and he shouldn't, and that's why he becomes a cult hero. I have not just Philadelphia. Once again, our lifetime, Connor, so 32 years for me as the veteran of the show, 31 years for you. The all-time starting nine by position slap hitters.
This is you're absolutely right, such a you thing.
This is such a me thing because I value getting on base. Well, if he walks and hits home runs, he's a good baseball player. Well, what if they throw strikes and he doesn't hit a home run that at bat? He's going to strike out. So I value guys that put the ball in play and get on base that way, the old-fashioned way, hitting singles. Ugh.
What was life like before the war?
Man, it was great because guys just went out there and hit. That's all that mattered. They didn't care about exit velocity. They didn't care about launch angle. They knew that two singles, a single, a bunt, and a single could score a run, not just hitting home runs.
Did you like FDR?
Yes. Those fireside chats were lit. All right, here's your starting nine. At catcher, because there's some positions that are hard. Like, oh, my God, who's the slap-hitting catcher? Easy, Jason Kendall. Jason Kendall, slap-hitting. By the way, could steal bases. Great catcher. Jason Kendall, slap-hitting catcher. First base, even though he didn't play there last night, I was able to put Luis Arraez there because he has played first base in Major League Baseball. Second base, Luis Castillo. Not the player that was just traded, the pitcher that was just traded from the Mariners, but Luis Castillo, former Marlin, former Met. Third base, I originally put down Alec Bohm. But I put in Placido Polanco instead. Remember, he played third with the Philadelphia Phillies for a time.
Yes, he did.
Placido Polanco. Shortstop, again, our lifetime. I wanted to put Derek Jeter, but people would be angry about that one.
Who'd you put, A-Rod?
Omar Vizquel.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Left field, former Philly, Juan Pierre.
Yes. Goated had to be on the list.
Moved him to center field in this conversation because he's played it, but he will always be my Hall of Fame right fielder. But in this conversation, Ichiro, center field. And then Tony Gwynn did play in our lifetime. He played into the early 2000s. So Tony Gwynn, right fielder. So I said, all right, how do I, add to this so that people, because there's a feel, as Sean Brace calls it, feel fact, right? There's a feel, all 9 of those guys, feel fact guys, right?
Yeah.
Slap hitter singles.
Yeah, for sure.
Jason Kendall in his career, 77% of his hits were singles. He had over 2,000 hits. So just 23% of his hits were anything else. Double, triple home run. Arraez, 78% of his hits in his career have been singles. Luis Castillo, the leader in the clubhouse, 86% of his hits in Major League Baseball were singles. Polanco, 78%. Omar Vizquel, 79%. Juan Pierre, 84%. Ichiro, 82%. Tony Gwynn, 76%. He had the pop on the team. That a quarter of his hits weren't singles. That was the pop on this team. That is the all-time starting 9 in my lifetime slap-hitting singles guys in Major League Baseball.
The anti-Schwarber.
Yes.
I love it.
I mean, I don't think anyone could beat this. Those guys, this was all very well thought out.
You're basically playing your own version of Immaculate Grid right now.
Yes. And I had fun doing it. So like I said, none of you could have listened to this segment. You could have all tuned out. And it still wouldn't have been a waste of time for me. Because this was fun for me. The guy that values people putting bat on ball. Wow. Caveman. All right, give me a text.
All right. I don't think we have anything on the all-time slap hitters, unfortunately for you, but we do have a check-in here from Gus from Souderton who says, we finally have a true ball player and a leader. Arraez is an absolute beast. I felt the energy through the television during each of his at-bats. When was the last time we saw a player with so much focus and desire at the plate? My vote is for him to be leadoff, and hopefully he's able to demonstrate how to approach each at-bat.
You know what else I love about him? He knows he's going to take a pitch, so he's just going to stand there. He's going to be frozen like a statue.
He had one of those, last night.
I know. I love it, dude. I love it. I'm not saying he's the greatest player in the world, but for this team, for what this team needs somebody that will make something happen, and making something happen does not mean home runs. We've gone too far in this. I had guys, Connor, is unbelievable. I'm still getting responses to my Camden Yards tweet the other day about valuing the old stats, because 95% of people that go to baseball games just want to eat a hot dog and see what somebody's batting, what's their batting average, right? That's what people care about most of the time going to ball games. All the other stats are for executives and GMs. Oh, I found out that you don't know ball. Oh, yeah? You probably don't like Luis Arraez. Well, I know that Luis Arraez on this team is actually a really valuable piece. Is he valuable to some other teams? No. The Giants probably didn't need him this year. That was probably a bad signing for the San Francisco Giants. It's a great pickup for the Phillies.
Home runs are stupid. Singles are sexy. Let's go win a World Series.
Hell yeah, man.
Maybe.
Tops off for singles, right? That's what.
All right, calm down now.
You saw it Saturday, Camden Yards. That was my first time in person seeing the tops off. There.
Tarps off. Come on now.
Tarps off.
Yeah.
I mean,
you are an old man.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a trend that I'll ever be a part of, but I figured
I went tarps off Saturday at the ballpark.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Where?
Out in right field.
You went up there?
No. They were in left. I did a solo tarps off.
Why?
I don't know. Phils were winning. Just have a fun day at the ballpark.
Dude, come on. You're a grown man.
I know.
Dude. All right. I have to go to break. That's just despicable. You took your shirt off at the baseball game.
It was hot.
Yeah, bro, I was hot too. I kept my clothes on.
God forbid a guy gets a little comfortable.
No, because you're comfortable, but you know who isn't comfortable? Everybody. Everybody's uncomfortable that a 31-year-old grown man is taking his shirt off at a baseball game. Uncomfortable. All right, come on. I'm disgusted. Thank God Jim Salisbury's coming up next. The addition of Luis Arraez, what does that do for this specific lineup? The starting pitchers. Those three guys are the reason why they're still World Series contenders. We'll talk about it all with Jim Salisbury coming up next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another shutout win. I'm Connor Thomas, and Luis Arraez had a strong debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at the bank. It's their third shutout in the last 4 games, and Arraez went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs coming in his first 2 at-bats of his Phillies tenure. Jesus Luzardo was also dominant on the mound, throwing 8 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. Caleb Killian threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phillies appearance. After the game, Don Mattingly talked about Arraez's approach at the plate.
You know, the one thing with Luis, you see that he's not afraid to take a pitch, not afraid to hit with a strike. You can tell the confidence he has. So it's just a guy that knows what he's doing up there.
Phils have now won 4 straight. They'll try to make it 5 tonight as they take on the Nationals again. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Andrew Painter versus Jake Irvin. The Eagles had a bit of an uncomfortable day in training camp yesterday. Both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missing practice with hamstring injuries. Neither is believed to be serious or long-term, but an early reminder of how important health is at this time of year. Vic Fangio will meet with the media today at 9:40. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of Leagues Cup group play. We're going to talk to Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia coming up next about the Phillies lineup changes post-trade deadline. This update is brought to you by Staples. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
A bad year for music? I don't know. Maybe. Depends what you like. Or is it like just the same sound?
I mean, probably a little bit.
You could tell me that this was Train, and I believe you, because you already played one song from Train earlier today.
These guys are better known for Bop.
Which I know that's who is it?
It's Hanson.
Yeah, no, the sounds the same. It really does. All right, it's Mornings with Salciunas. Jim Salisbury is going to be joining us coming up in a few minutes. All our bump back music today is now that's what I call CD number 4. First one was 25. Yesterday was 30. So we're going all over the place. Connor's picking random numbers, and that will be the bump back music for the shows until August 17th when the new morning show starts. It'll be Marks and Salciunas starting August 17th. You got the midday show, new midday show with Ray and Sean. Connor will be producing that show. I keep on seeing people asking who will be the producer of the morning show. We'll all find out eventually.
Great question. We'll see.
We'll all find out eventually. I can go back in there.
You could.
No, I don't want to throw that idea out there because they will eat that up.
Tell you who it won't be. You ain't getting me up at 4 a.m.
No, you get to, you and Johnny get to sleep in nowadays. That must be nice. Sounds good. All right, before we speak to Jim Salisbury, here's what we've been talking about this morning, and we'll get more answers on this as the show continues. You make the case as to why the Phillies are blank, and you can do whatever you want. You want to make the case that they're World Series contenders, World Series favorites, not going to make the playoffs, going to be one and done in the playoffs, going to fall apart, whatever it is that you're thinking, because I think every answer is logical. If you think the Phillies will miss the playoffs, you can make a compelling case as to why they will miss the playoffs. If you think that they will win the World Series, I believe that you can make a compelling case as to why they will win the World Series. The case that I am making is that they are contenders. Not that they will win the World Series, but that they are contenders. And it's because of the 3 starting pitchers, and it's because of the now added piece of the lineup in Luis Arraez. But I was saying this even before the addition of Arraez. I wanted bullpen help. They got that at the deadline. I know that for the first 6 innings of any given Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo start, my team will be in the game. And that doesn't matter who they're playing. So that's why I will continue to make the case as to why they are World Series contenders, despite me hating like 65% of this team. All right, joining us now from NBC Sports Philadelphia. I can't wait to get his thoughts on this. When it comes to the baseball approach and how we're overthinking things. Maybe I'm wrong. My man Jim Salisbury joins us. Jim, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Andrew. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. I can't wait to talk to you. I know I'm the 32-year-old pup when it comes to baseball, but I'm an old-school baseball guy. Like, I still value hitting the ball and hitting singles. So I was very, very, very happy when they acquired Luis Arraez. I was talking about this earlier in the show about how baseball is already the hardest sport to play, and I think you would agree with that. Round ball, round bat, the way the pitches move and everything. And I do think that the way baseball teams have been trying to hit home runs and drive the ball, that they've already made a really difficult game harder. There is something beautiful for me that a guy like Luis Arraez, and we see it with Justin Crawford, can just go out there and put the ball in play, and whether it's a home run or an RBI single, it's still a run. What do you think of the addition of Luis Arraez to this lineup?
Well, I agree with everything you said, and I think we saw the proof of it all last night. First 2 at-bats, he comes up with runners on base, and they put 2 points on the board because he can, put the bat in the ball and spray it around and get base hits. So I like the acquisition. I like how he's so comfortable in his skin. I've always liked it. As the game is turned toward power and driving the ball all the time, and that power has, gone over to the pitching side as well. There's an emphasis on power and spin and stuff. It's very hard to fight power with power from an offensive point of view, but he's a guy who fights power with finesse and puts the ball in play. And while the sport doesn't value that as much, it will someday again because everything comes full circle. But I commend him. He said last night, if I try to play that power game, I'm home watching games on my couch. So I think it's what the Phillies needed, a component like that. Bat the ball, on base. I mean, it astounds me that they're 3rd from the bottom in the majors in on-base percentage. He'll help that. He helped them last night I like the pickup. I think it's going to help their offense. It helped them last night, created some energy. Energy is an often overlooked element in baseball. I think this team looked a lot dead ass in recent weeks, and he'll pick that up. And also, I think everybody looks at the defensive alignment and the way they've shuffled things as a negative, and it could potentially be. You got guys kind of playing out of position, but I also think it adds a freshness to a team that needed some. So I'm totally on board with the rise, and I think the defensive adjustments can work. Concerns, though, as they come out of the deadline and not get another starting pitcher, but we'll see.
I love that you brought up energy, Jim. People might think that I am overthinking this or it's too deep, but I made an analogy today that Dave Dombrowski finally went to the grocery store and shopped down the aisle that had spices and seasoning to it, because I think this baseball team's been very bland. And it doesn't matter how you look, so that nobody gets offended. Harrison Bader's a white man, but Harrison Bader last year brought an energy and a swagger that this team has missed. Do you believe that energy, I mean, you kind of just touched it, but not just regular season, but this team feels like when they get to the playoffs, they get tight and that all the pressure is sometimes too much for them. Do you think a guy that just goes out there and plays baseball and has fun doing it is something that this team needed?
Yeah, and I think it could help them in October. I've written a number of times over the last couple of years that this team gets extremely tight in October, and they put extreme pressure on themselves, and you can't perform up to your capabilities when you're putting pressure on yourself, when you're tense, when you're anxious. You need to be free and easy, and I don't think this guy ever gets uptight, and I think that will rub off on people. I thought he rubbed off on people last night. I thought they played a very sharp ball game. Harper looked just fine in right field. Stott made a really nice play on a hard hit ball late in that game at third base. And who else played really well was Trey Turner. He had 3 hits, he scored 2 runs, and he looked very good in the field. There was a hard hit ball right at him early in the game, and he backhanded it. I have no clue why he backhanded a ball right at him. I kind of made a note of it, but after that, he made like 3 really good plays in the field. One diving behind the bag, one on another hard hit ball. And I thought his throws, I thought he really let the ball go like he was confident. And I wonder if just getting some early runs, having Arraez and just that fresh outlook, Luzardo said it was a breath of fresh air. I think it rubbed off on everybody, including Trey Turner. He looks more confident throwing the baseball than I've seen him in a while. And throwing is not his big problem. It's fielding, but, defense is defense. I just thought he looked better. I wonder if, this acquisition can, spread and have a positive effect on everybody. But it's also incumbent on the starting pitchers to keep them in games. And we saw an example of that last night. Luzardo really kept him in that game. Everything revolves around starting pitching, and I still think that's a concern. I heard you ask if they were World Series contenders. I think they're postseason contenders. I think they get to the postseason, and then you got to put together your 3 best weeks of the season, and anything can happen. I've seen wild card teams jump on the back of Josh Beckett. I've seen, good but not great teams jump on the back of Cole Hamels.
Yeah.
And win a World Series. So they can jump on the back of Sanchez and Wheeler and go places in October. But the rest of the lineup has to produce as well. They have to have their best 3 weeks. They can get to October. But it's really, really important that, they're rolling the dice on this 5-man rotation. They did not add to it. Rolling the dice on good to perfect health, which is tough with 40-some-odd games left, everybody making 9 more starts. And they're rolling the dice on effectiveness at the back 2 spots of that rotation. So we're going to get another look at Andrew Painter tonight.
Yep.
I was really excited for last night's game because I wanted to see the effect of Arraez. I wanted to see him in a Phillies uniform. He did not disappoint. Really eager to see what happens tonight as Painter gets the ball again for a second time since coming up.
Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia joining us here. Jim, you touched on a couple things there. You mentioned Trey Turner having a good glove last night. I'm not going to act like he is cured of his defensive woes.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
So I'm curious, when it came out that he would remain as the shortstop and yet all the other moving pieces of Stott to third, Arraez to second, Harper to the outfield, Bohm to first, were you surprised that they moved that many positions around where there has been talks about eventually Stott to short and Turner to the outfield?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised because I do think they're going to visit this topic in the offseason. But, Trey Turner, and I think he can play outfield and be quite good at it. But I think it's more of an offseason type of thing, talking about it, putting it into play. And when I say offseason, I'm including spring training because he's only played like 50 games in his professional life in the outfield, in center field. And I think he needs a full spring training to make it work. And I think that's the way they feel. But it's something they need to tackle in the offseason, in my opinion, because the time is now. So right now you're going to have to kind of hope he has more nights like last night and get through it. And Kenny, we'll see. I mean, I think a lot of it is mental. That's why I really thought it was important that he looked so confident last night. But to me, the time has come, and they gotta talk about it and maybe put it into action this offseason. I think he'd be a dynamic, probably left fielder, maybe center fielder, but I think he can do it, and I think they need to move on it in the offseason and start getting it and making it happen. But probably needs a whole spring training to throw him out there because it has been 10 years. Like Harper was out there a few years ago. He came up as a right fielder after switching from catcher. Stott is a fantastic infielder. He can play anywhere on the diamond. So it's not troubling to see him go over to. It's not a big chore to see him go to third. And Bowman's played a lot of first. So those moving parts all have a lot of familiarity with where they're going. He hasn't been out there in 10 years. I can understand it, and I know hearts will be in throats hoping he doesn't boot a big one in a big game.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jim, last thing. Bryce Harper and Dave Dombrowski buddies again after the I got you, shut the hell up hug that they had in front of members of the media.
Who cares?
Right.
I mean, seriously, who cares? Who cares about the relationship between the president of baseball operations and Bryce Harper?
Sure.
It's about winning. It's about winning baseball games. Winning cures everything. Bryce is hacked because Dave made that comment in October, and you just move on. They can deal with it. They're big boys.
I just felt it seemed like Bryce didn't move on. It felt like it bothered him to the point where he would continue to say things in the public.
On.
Yeah, right.
he hasn't moved on. You put on a T-shirt that says elite. That's poking. That's a guy that hasn't moved on.
Right.
But maybe he's drawing fuel in this. And then he speaks out and says, we need help. This is a smart guy. He knows everything he's doing, especially when it comes to sending messages. He knows everything he's doing. And he knows that when he came out and said they needed help, which is something he has said all along, he knows he has to back it up, and he's played really well lately. So they need a productive and motivated Bryce Harper. And if Dave Dombrowski scuffing him last October is that motivation, bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, thanks, man. Appreciate the time. Enjoy the stretch run of the regular season before we get to another Red October. Appreciate your time as always.
My pleasure. Good talking to you. See you.
There he is, Jim Salisbury, one of the best from NBC Sports Philadelphia, joining us here on Mornings with Salciunas. Yeah, postseason contenders. I like that. I think that's a good answer because, again, I never wavered that they would make – I thought they were going to make the playoffs. I was worried when Harper spoke out. I thought that there was a potential bottom-out moment, like they were losing a lot of games. Harper makes another public statement about the state of the team. You don't know how other teammates may have taken that, right? Like Bryce Harper saying we need help. He wasn't wrong for saying it. They did need help. but you're basically talking about your fellow teammates, about why you need help. You straight up called out Alec Boehm without using his name in March when he said that the 4-hitter sucked last year. The 4-hitter was Alec Boehm. I thought we were on the verge of the roof collapsing with the Phillies team. And as Jim Salisbury said, winning's the best medicine, it's the best deodorant, right? They take 2 of 3 in Baltimore. That first game was horrible, but they take 2 of 3. They get the addition of Arraez. They win 2 games. The second game is Arraez's debut. And that alone may have been enough to have sparked something for the Phillies moving forward. It does not mean that they are going to win a World Series, but does it absolutely mean that this vibe and everything has shifted for this team? I know it sounds, I don't even know what the, like woke comes up. Yeah, you know,
it's not.
Whatever word you want to use, I understand it sounds a certain type of way where I talk about this Phillies team being too bland. It doesn't just mean how they look. It means this team was coming in every single day doing a job and not playing a kid's game. Baseball is a job. It's their job. It's what puts money on the table, right? But I don't need 9 Anthony Rendons where it's I'm doing this to get paid. I need guys that live and die by this. And it's one thing for you to say, well, of course I love baseball. Like, I don't know if they do. Like, they're like hitting a single and doing this, the DJ celebration, like just the little one, that doesn't look like fun. Luis Arraez hits a single in the first inning of a baseball game, and he acted like he just walked off a World Series. You know what I mean? Like, that energy is important. That kind of swagger is important. Harrison Bader coming in last year was important because it kind of looked like they were just playing in mud. You need guys that are going to provide a bit of a spark. You need to allow guys to be them, whoever that is, until it becomes a problem. Like Alec Boehm crying all the time is a problem. It weighs on players. Just like A.J. Brown crying all the time last year, it weighed on players. Right? One guy's white, one guy's black. It doesn't matter what people look like. Are you bringing positive energy? Are you excited to play for what you have? Are you a part of the team? Do you want to succeed? Do you love every bit of success? One of the reasons why I love Brandon Marsh as the person is that Brandon Marsh could be a platoon player sitting on the bench and he's cheering on his teammate, and the next day when he's in the lineup, he's going to do whatever he can to help the team out. Yeah. Like, this team's been missing that kind of stuff the last couple of years because I think they've felt the pressure so much that they've forgotten what baseball is, a kid's game.
Marsh is also an everyday outfielder. Don't forget that in the description of him. But this shouldn't be surprising to anybody. Like, when they got Rob Thompson fired, nothing changed between Thompson and Mattingly.
No,
Wheeler came back, and that's a big part of it. But that's the only thing roster-wise that was different. You know why it changed? Because this team's issues have never really been talent. They are in some cases. But when you look at the payroll and the roster and the resumes and who these guys are, they should win consistently. The problem with this team has always been mental. They collapse in big moments. They lose their focus at points in the season. One of the kicks in the ass of the season was you got your manager fired. The only other real major kick in the ass you can get is the trade deadline and bring in some new blood in the front office saying, hey, we're going for this, or we're trying to, in some sense, go for it. You shouldn't be surprised that the Phillies feel a lot different today.
Yeah. Just don't go on a losing streak, and all of a sudden you're tight again. By the way, I saw somebody on our YouTube chat. It was a while ago. I'm sorry. I forget who said it. When I was going through my starting 9 of slap-hitting players, somebody said that Joe Mauer should have been the catcher over Jason Kendall. Joe Mauer, 72% of his hits were singles. Jason Kendall's 77% of singles. So Jason Kendall still gets the nod for the starting 9 slap-hitting players.
Well played, Mauer.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, that was Kate Upton was in those commercials too, wasn't she? Don't forget that one.
Those are the days.
People forget that the Phillies signed Kyle Schwarber. I don't forget that Kate Upton was in those MLB The Show commercials. All right, coming up next as the conversation continues. One quick break from the Phillies. Connor, unless something crazy happens in the game tonight, I think we're going to have a Jalen Hurts show tomorrow.
Oh, here we go.
Another ranking came out. We talked about it earlier where he comes in at number 17. How about a list where he comes in at number 1?
That sounds good.
Not until you hear what it's about. Mornings with Salciunas here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A great debut for Arraezing. I'm Connor Thomas, and Luis Arraez had a strong debut as the Phillies took down the Nationals 5-0 last night at Citizens Bank Park. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs coming in his first 2 at-bats of his Phil's tenure. Jesus Luzardo also had a great night. 8 shutout innings on the mound, 7 strikeouts. Caleb Killian, who the Phil's also acquired from the Giants, threw a scoreless 9th inning in his first Phil's appearance. Vibes were great last night. And Arraez spoke after the game with NBC Sports Philadelphia crew about what it felt like to change teams and everything he's been going through.
I mean, the few days I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep thinking it, and then I say, where am I going to go? And then, but thanks God, I'm going to sleep tonight.
The Phils have now won 4 straight. They'll try to make it 5 tonight at 6:40 p.m. They'll take on the Nationals again. Andrew Painter faces Jake Irvin. Eagles had a bit of a rough day yesterday in training camp. Both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missed practice with hamstring injuries. Now, neither is believed to be serious or long-term, but something to keep an eye on. Health is very, very important, especially at this point in the year as they get prepared for the season. Defensive coordinator Vic Fangio will meet with the media today at 9:40. The Union take on Cruz Azul tomorrow night at Subaru Park in their first game of Leagues Cup group play. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Through 6 to 10 a.m. Middays with Marks 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Unfiltered.
This hour is brought to you by The Baxter, dumpster in a bag. Get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. For details, go to Baxter.com.
All right, it's 9:30. Mornings with Salciunas. Bump back music. Now that's what I call whatever number we're picking on the given day. CD, this is 4. Now that's what I call 4. Who's this?
This is Mandy Moore with Candy.
Of course. They still kicking? They still putting out music?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Mandy Moore.
I've heard of Mandy Moore. I just don't know what Mandy Moore is doing these days. Mandy Moore, American singer.
Alive?
Well, yeah, I wasn't saying, are they dead?
Congrats, Mandy.
No, I was wondering if she's still making...
I don't know, man.
Is she still making music?
You said still kicking.
Oh, dude, she was Rapunzel in the Disney movie Tangled.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, very talented singer.
I like Tangled. Flynn Rider, great character.
She was in the show This Is Us. She's become more actress than singer.
Interesting.
In her later life at the age of 42.
Congrats on all your success, Mandy.
Yeah, how about it? She was married to Ryan Adams, who was a guitarist from Heartbreaker. That was his solo album, Heartbreaker. You knew that one, right?
Definitely.
And now married to Taylor Goldsmith, another singer. So she must have a thing for singers. She's a very beautiful lady, so you just need to start playing guitar and start singing.
I play guitar.
All right, so
and sing.
Well, if her marriage ends,
neither all that well though.
You'll be around for that one. All right, before we get to this other article that's going to piss people off about Jalen Hurts, for those of you who get very sensitive about Jalen Hurts' rankings and what people say about him, I got to ask you a question. So I just checked my DMs, and I had a DM by The Machine. The Machine chimes in. Texted it, tweeted me, or DM'd me yesterday about the new show that's starting August 17th, and said he's going to be calling in. He's excited. And he said, by the way, I made the switch 6 years ago to the mornings, which is great. Appreciate you being a part of it. And he said, I saw you the other day at the Harrison House, which is a diner in Mullica Hill. It's Coop's favorite restaurant. Literally, for his birthday this year, we asked you, you can go anywhere. We will take you anywhere you want to go. That was food, park, movie theater, amusement thing. What do you want to do for your birthday? I want to go to Harrison House. Like, he loves it there, right? And he said, I didn't want to bother. I said, bro, stop by anytime.
Yeah, dude, you're Albert Pujols, so you can say hi.
Yeah, big deal. Stop on by. I have to ask you something. I don't have the heart to say no, but I really, really don't like the guy that comes up to the table and says, do you want me to make you a balloon animal? Or the guy that comes up to the table and says, do you want me to do a magic trick?
I feel like those are two very different things.
No, the guy actually did both, by the way. But I remember years ago, I was at Outback with my family. And don't get me wrong, the magic trick was amazing. He did a card trick. Still don't know how I did it. All right, somehow my mom had, ink on her hand. It was a wild thing. I still have no idea how the hell he did it. All right. I don't like to look up the how they did it things because I don't want that ruined for me. Like, I want to know how the hell you did these things.
What do you mean? It's magic. You can't look up how they did it.
But, like, there are times where, like, Coop's guy, couple of offers. Which one is it that you want? And then Coop wanted a sword because he was able to make a 6 sword. Don't get me wrong. His work is great. Like, if you could turn balloons into things, whether it's a balloon animal or a balloon sword or balloon. He made a belt for him and everything. It was very impressive. Like, I don't want, if this guy's listening, I don't want you thinking that I'm not impressed by your work. But, like, trying to eat, man.
Yeah, that's why the magic trick is very different than the balloon animal. The magic trick you're involved in. The balloon animal, you just kind of sit there while he does it.
And you're staring. And then it's like,
yeah, dinner and a show.
The waitress is trying to put the food on your table.
How many restaurants do you go to where a guy's asking you about balloon animals?
Well, no, this one, he's there every week. And he's a nice man. It's just, and then you feel bad saying no. And then Coop wants a balloon, and then the balloon ends up popping. And I don't know. I could do without it.
God forbid the guy's got hustle.
The in-restaurant entertainment. I don't need it. All right. Latest ranking that's going to piss people off because we get sensitive with Jalen Hurts. There's an article on Fox Sports written by Eric Williams, and they have Bucky Brooks as the NFL analyst, ranking the 15 NFL players under the most pressure in 2026. At number 15, it's DeMarvion Overshown with the Cowboys. Really, really talented player, but he's been a guy that's gotten hurt a lot, and so can he get the big payday? There's the pressure on him. And, oh, by the way, the Cowboys, if they have a middle-of-the-pack defense, will be a really good football team because of that offense. Jared versus 14, right? You're replacing Myles Garrett. Good luck, dude. Like, sorry. You have to try to be good. Nobody's going to say be Myles Garrett, but you can't be bad. Kenneth Walker is 13. All right, the Chiefs need a running back. Super Bowl MVP. You're there. Alec Pierce is 12, the wide receiver of the Colts that got paid way too much money. I thought it was a horrible contract. He's a solid player. Now, if you're the Indianapolis Colts and if you're Alec Pierce, this better work out for you. George Pickens at 11. He's about to get paid if he has another good season. Tua Tagovailoa is at 10. Does he have a job after this season? Myles Garrett, is he the guy that leads the Rams to being a good defense again, and now the Rams are Super Bowl champions? That's at number 9. Justin Herbert should be higher than 8 because he doesn't win anything in the playoffs. Him only being at 8 is stupid.
Already got a ring.
How?
Madison Beer.
That's right. A.J. Brown's at 7 for all his smack talk, and now he's with the New England Patriots, and they're a wide receiver away. Bryce Young's at 6. Travis Hunter's at 5. C.J. Stroud is at 4. Puka Nacua is at 3. Lamar Jackson is at 2. And who is at number 1 on this list? The player out of the entire NFL that has the most pressure on them going into 2026. Do you have a guess?
Jake Elliott.
No. It's Jalen Hurts. This is what Eric Williams wrote. A.J. Brown has been traded to the New England Patriots, so there's no excuse for bad vibes in Philadelphia. And although Hurts has his 6th offensive coordinator in 7 seasons in Philadelphia, with Sean Mannion, he must prove to doubters that he is an elite signal caller in the league. Armed with one of the best offensive lines, one of the best runners in Saquon Barkley, and a talented receiver room led by Devontae Smith, along with some intriguing newcomers, Hurts has the weapons and system in place to create an explosive offense. Now he must go out and make it happen. Bucky Brooks, the rhetoric around the former Super Bowl MVP is alarming, giving his individual success and the Eagles' status as perennial contender. Despite leading the franchise to a pair of Super Bowl appearances where he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in each contest, the Eagles' sagging passing game with Brown as the feature playmaker has raised concerns about Hurts' long-term effectiveness as a pocket passer. With his 6th play caller in place since arriving in Philadelphia, Hurts must adapt to another system while dealing with outsized expectations from a fan base growing increasingly frustrated by the Eagles' inconsistent offense. Hurts needs a strong 2026 campaign to silence the boo birds and naysayers and perhaps save his head coach's job, if not his own. Hurts has seen firsthand in Philly how this could all play out. Jalen Hurts thrives under pressure, thank God, because there is going to be pressure. Now, look, we could do every quarterback in the NFL has pressure, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about payday. That's when pressure really kicks up a notch. Justin Herbert's pressure is, will he always be looked at as a regular season quarterback, or will he ever be looked at as the guy that we thought he could be coming out of college? But he will always get paid, and I don't see the Chargers giving up on him. Jalen Hurts plays in a very difficult city with a high expectations from not only this fan base, but also the front office, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. And they have a major, major, major financial decision to make after this season ends. If he plays well, it is the easiest decision in the world. The guy's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl, and he just played well again. And he proved a lot of doubters wrong. If he doesn't, wow, are we going to have a wild offseason next year. And June 1st will continue to be a date that lives in infamy of Philadelphia. And we'll talk about will they, won't they, for an entire offseason again.
Be good radio.
Yeah, it would be.
But I'd prefer to talk Super Bowl.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That gets lost in my talks about Jalen Hurts. I want him to lose. Like, no, go Birds. I want Jalen Hurts to succeed. Number 1 most pressure in all of football. I think that's absurd.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he has pressure personally. He should not be number 1.
Why not?
again, Justin Herbert, you want to talk about pressure. This guy's looked at like he's like some darling in the NFL, and he can't win anything. C.J. Stroud is 4th on this list. C.J. Stroud should have more pressure than Jalen Hurts. C.J. Stroud might not be, you want to talk about not being on their team next year? Hurts versus Stroud? Texans fans want him gone now. I get this city and Philadelphia and how quick we can be, right? We are a very manic group. The Phillies beat the Dodgers game 1 of their series a couple of weeks ago, and they're World Series teams. They lost the next game. They suck. Like, we go crazy in this city. Part of the reason why I love us so much. But there's nobody in Houston, like, wanting CJ. I don't think they want CJ Stroud anymore.
Yeah, but it's Houston. And I also think a big part of the pressure is the potential narrative swing on a guy. Like, if Justin Herbert goes out this year, collapses in the postseason again, the conversation's going to be the same. He's the prototypical quarterback that can't win when it counts. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP who could be looking at another team somehow next year. Like, I think part of it is the ceiling of what we've seen him be versus how that could swing in 1 year that makes him have the most pressure.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. I think the city and the way the league looks at the Eagles more so than the Houston Texans. But I like, think about this for a second. The Eagles and Texans are very similar. Defense is really good. Really, really good. Jalen Hurts is better than C.J. Stroud.
Absolutely.
Jalen Hurts should not be ahead of C.J. Stroud in terms of pressure.
No, I'm saying
you can say that the Texans have not won because of him. I can't say that the Eagles have not won because of Jalen Hurts. I could say that the Eagles have won as a total team, and that maybe Jalen Hurts isn't the reason why they've won games, but he's not a total net negative.
Yeah, I think he's above him because he is better than him. I think part of it is the ceiling. Some of the guys, pressure is for great players. Pressure is for guys who have been there or can be there.
No, you said a couple weeks ago that the guys that step up are usually the guys that aren't good. You said it, dude. That was you.
Don't you get me
You
clipped.
were the one that said it. I said that in terms of pressure, I would take Zach Wheeler over anybody else. He said, no, Jalen Hurts, because usually guys that aren't good are the ones that step up.
I didn't say that.
You were close to it. All right, coming up next, in honor of the pressure conversation. You know what? I do. You know what? Hold on one second. Let me go to Jeff in Allentown. Jeff, you're on Mornings with Salciunas. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah. Am I on?
Yeah, you're here.
Okay, I'd like to comment on the guy Arraez. And it's like they invented the wheel now, and everybody's all excited. It's like they put Major League Baseball is the cause of this. They put so much emphasis on this launch angle, over swinging. I guarantee you, the lefties that the Phillies are facing, if they would just go to a Tony Gwynn style, a Pete Rose style, just trying to make contact, don't overswing, hit the ball where it's pitched, and they'd hammer these left-handed pitchers. But they want to overswing. And they can't. You see Harper and Schwarber, they can't reach the ball for crying out loud. They're missing it by a foot.
Jeff, can you be my
it gets me so frustrated.
Jeff, can I adopt you as my uncle? I don't know how that works, but can you be my uncle? Because like I love you. I love you. You and I look at baseball very similarly. Baseball's already a hard enough sport. Don't overcomplicate it. There's going to be some guys that can't do what Luis Arraez do. All right, so it's not as easy as how you're saying it. Like, hey, Bryce Harper should just have a Tony Gwynn approach. Like, that's not going to happen. Bryce Harper's going to the Hall of Fame because he's Bryce Harper. But it is okay to still have guys in your baseball team that just hit the baseball.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You need a mix of maybe 3 guys like that are a pain in the neck. And every time they come up, you go, oh, my God, so-and-so's coming up. You know what I'm saying? From the time I was in Little League until I stopped playing baseball when I was 42, okay, it creates such havoc when a guy gets on base. You know, people don't understand it's a game of first strike, first out, first hit, first guy on base. The pitcher's invincible until you get a guy on base. He feels invincible until you get a hit on him. He's invincible until you get a run on him. And once you do that and you break the ice, everything changes. The dynamics all change. People can't understand that.
Baseball's a hard sport, so try to make it as simple as possible. You're the man, Uncle Jeff. That's my uncle now. I don't know if I can adopt uncles. I don't know if that's how that works.
I don't think so.
But I'm going to adopt him as my uncle. That is now Uncle Jeff moving forward when he calls into the show. Because he and I see baseball the same way, man. Just shorten up and swing, brother. I love it. That is my guy right there. He mentioned Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn's in my all-time starting 9 slap hitters. All right, coming up
Jeff
next.
sounds like his phone number is 2.
Coming up next.
You have 1.
We just talked about pressure. I'm curious if we did a top 5 Philadelphia athletes under the most pressure right now, who is it? We'll get into that next here on The Fanatic. It's Blink 182. All the small things.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. I told you I get. You said during the break you would quit if I got it wrong. I should have gotten it wrong on purpose.
I would have walked off this show like right now. If
I
you
saw
didn't.
them in concert last year.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. When they did their revival tour. They're back together.
Shut up, Link.
Yeah. The problem with going to a concert like that, you don't give a crap about any of the new songs.
Yeah, you got to just play the hits.
Yeah, so I went to this two things on the Blink 182 concert that I went to last year, and I don't know if they're still touring. You know, it was kind of a one-off for me. Like I just wanted to see them. They're one of I love the band, right? Two things on Blink 182. One, nobody gives a damn about your new songs, and this goes to like any band that has like hits, right? And so the show was like 2 hours long, their portion of the show, because they have so much music. What they did was, when they began their set, they played like two songs that everybody knew. And then they did the gap of all the new songs. And my buddy Jack, who I was with, he loves Blink 182, even current day Blink 182. He was singing word for word almost every single song. And I was like, good for you, man. You're having the time of your life. I'm going to go get a beer because I don't care about this new song. I don't care about this new song. And it just kept going. And then eventually they got back to the hits that everybody at the Xfinity Mobile Arena was singing alongside to. The other thing, at some point you're going to age out. If you remember some of their old songs, it's graphic. But it's not graphic like I'm just going to curse a lot. It's like some of the things that they sing about, you're like, it's kind of weird that you guys are in like your 50s and there's teenage girls in attendance listening to this music, and you're saying some of the things that you're saying about, you know, Johnsons and everything. And it's like, it's getting kind of weird, man. I love you guys, but I'm looking around. There's some really young people here, and you're talking about your Johnsons.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, at some point, you might have to stop.
Here's what I'll say. This is like, you remember when Bryce Harper said we need help at the trade deadline?
Yes.
Everyone's like, you're not wrong, but you shouldn't be the one talking about it.
Yeah.
This is the guy who every song we're playing on like the hits playlist is just like, I don't know who this artist is.
I don't know anybody.
Maybe you're not the guy to
maybe I'm not
to rate the Blink 182
maybe
concert.
I'm not. But it's just like it's just talking about certain things when there's like teenage girls around. I find that
one for sure weird.
I find that odd. Like, you know, just like, oh, that's a little uncomfortable. All right, top 5 players currently, because you asked me to the break. Players, yes, players, not coaches and executives. Top 5 players under the most pressure. I have at number 5, Trey Turner. He could be higher, but he's not the reason why this team's going to go, like the reason why this team's going to go anywhere. But the reason why he is in the top 5 is because not many people like him. And if he plays shortstop poorly, it's going to be an awful conversation.
I have him higher, but he is on my list.
Where's he at on you?
I've got him at 3.
All right. I have at number 4, I have LeBron. Because it's one thing to do this whole LeBron thing here, and then what if it doesn't go well? I expect it to. But if it doesn't go well, and if they don't win a championship, and if they lose in the first round again or the second round again, like I'm not looking forward to those conversations. I'm not. From people like 215J Philly, like I'm not looking forward to that. To the people that didn't want LeBron James. I'm not looking forward to that. There's a guy in the city that would dunk on everybody if they don't win a championship.
LeBron James is number 1 on my list.
All right.
And it wasn't particularly close.
Number 1. All right.
Yeah, dude.
I have Bryce Harper at 3. The reason why he's not 1 or 2, and you'll understand why, is because he's going to be here. Whether he wins or not, he's going to be here. The reason why he's at 3 is because it's not only for Philadelphia, it's for himself. There's one thing missing from his resume, and it's the ring. That is the only thing missing from his resume. Is Harper in your top 5?
I don't have him on the list.
That's crazy. Then I need to know who's on your list that's not on mine.
Okay.
Because I have at number 2 Jalen Hurts, and it's because of the position that he plays, in the city that he plays in, and because of the looming contract talks. If he does not play well, he does not get the contract here. If he does not play well, we're talking about a new quarterback in Philadelphia. People aren't ready to have that conversation. I am. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm ready to live in a world of reality where if Jalen Hurts does not play well and it's the 3rd straight year of a bad passing offense with everything that they have at their disposal on offense and the defense being that good, and if we're once again saying the defense is the reason why they're over 500 and not the offense, then Jalen Hurts is not on this team next year. So he's at number 2, and Joel Embiid's at number 1 for me. Because they don't win if he doesn't have the health and if he's mopey and all that kind of stuff. Joel Embiid's been here the longest. So if the Sixers team doesn't work, who's going to be blamed first? The guy that's been here the longest. And that's why he's number 1 on my most pressure list in Philadelphia right now. What do you got?
Yeah, Joe's not on there. Bryce is not on there.
Okay.
Because this is, 5, I've got Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown being gone puts a lot on his shoulders. And a lot of people really like him, and we do as well. But he's going to be asked to do some heavy lifting for this team in the wide receiver room.
Okay.
Number 4 is Jalen Carter. Just got big time paid. And there were people who had questions about the shape, about the off-field.
Defense is going to be good regardless.
I got you. But he's going to be under the pressure of, you just got a big time payday that could restrict other guys from getting paid. You better step up. Number 3 is Trey Turner. He's the only Philly I have on this list because I know how this fan base feels about him. And him staying at shortstop, if they lose, he will catch the most.
The team that is hated the most has one guy with the most pressure.
Yeah. Well, because baseball's
on your list.
Baseball's different, man. Baseball's different because, like, one player, it's almost individual. So I can't put – Harper's been good in the postseason at points.
All right, who's 2 and Wong? So
2 is Jalen Hurts, 1 is LeBron.
Okay.
If this Sixers team doesn't win, it will be the LeBron James conversation, not Joel Embiid.
All right, Middays with Marks comes your way next. Everybody, a great day. We'll be back at it tomorrow here on The Fanatic.